How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the James Loud Podcast. And today our special guest is Amanda from PAX LA. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. So happy to be here.
So glad you came out. You helped build the brand PAX.
Yep.
And that's pretty impressive. I'm so glad you could make it out here to California because
I couldn't wait.
Are East Coast.
I am an East Coast. I am based out of New York.
Nice.
Lived in LA for a little bit. I couldn't handle it. Wasn't my style, wasn't my speed, but this time around, I'm liking it, but I've been with PAX on and off since they started.
Nice.
Was with them, got our first license, went into 8 states. Then I left for a little bit. I worked with a few other brands, and then I decided to come back 2 years ago.
Really cool. So yeah, tell us about PAX.
So PAX, we're known for our 2.5 gram blunt. Everything that we make is proprietary down to our blunt wrap, which I showed you earlier, to our glass tips. Everything is still hand rolled. Actually, one SKU we've automated, but for the most part, we've liked to keep the brand and maintain it as a hand rolled product. So our 2 products, which are 2.5, are the heavy and the classic. The classic is the blunt, for which we're known for. And then the heavy is the comparative to the blunt, just in paper, because some people don't like the idea of smoking a blunt.
Right.
And then our Packarillos are our 1 gram blunt that we offer. And all 3 of those are still hand rolled.
You guys have some really cool paper that you guys roll with. Proprietary. It feels like tobacco.
Took us a long time to develop this hemp wrap. We wanted to maintain, our blunt smokers. Obviously, hitting the rec market, there was a little bit of chatter on like, it doesn't hit the same. It's not the blunt high, whatever. But down to the feel, to the cut, to the shape of the blunt, we tried to keep it as close to that blunt wrap feel.
Yeah, I mean, literally the moisture content is identical. It's got that feel to it, which is really unique and really rare. So
adds to the, cost, the novelty, and why, we maintain that price also. But yeah, we spent a lot of time on developing that product.
Nice.
And we sell it also as an ancillary product. You can buy a pack of them in some stores.
Or shipped to you.
Really on our website.
You guys also sell the crutches, the glass crutches?
Yeah. So basically when you buy the pack wraps, it's 2 in a pack. It comes sealed into like almost a blister pack type of like safety net to keep the freshness. And then it comes with a tube and the glass tip. So
nice.
We developed that because some people are turned off by the pre-roll. They immediately are like, put the X on it. It's a pre-roll. It's not good quality. Like, we're not going to smoke that. So in some markets, we started selling 8s of flour, depending on the quality of the flour in that market. And giving you the ability to roll it yourself so that you get the PAX experience with your type of flour.
Nice. Well, yeah, and the name PAX, how did you guys come up with the name PAX?
We kind of had to go through a rebrand. We were on the streets Prop 215 days, and even before that on our first license in 8 states. It was a little bit longer, but built a lot of traction for ourselves. There was woods at the end of the pack, and as we started to grow, more eyes on us, needed to go through a rebrand, and we felt PAX is a universal term. Yeah. There's tons of brands called PAX. I think we're most known for our red drip. That's how you really identify us, our packaging and the drips. But we felt like giving it, universal. And then we couldn't really call someone call any of the items our previous names because we went to vapes. So you can't call a vape a wood.
Yeah.
And the term wouldn't apply. So we went with just PAX Los Angeles.
Well, and it's you're tipping your hat to the legacy market. I love it. It's authentic. It's unique. So yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about you and your history. How did you get started with the flower, the cannabis?
So someone that I babysat for back in college was launching a cannabis app out of Colorado. Colorado was just going legal, and they felt the safest way was to go through tech, not plant touching, right? I had a tech background from a Fortune 500 tech company, and they were like, come on in, can you do biz dev for us? That company was called Hi There, and it was a connection-based app, basically linking people to whatever markets iTunes would allow you to open up in. And that's how I got into it. And it was really cool because it was Colorado. Colorado was the first, obviously, Washington next. But and then I ran into the owner of PAX at Kushstock in California. I was there with my company, and it just so happens that he's my cousin. And he was like, "What? You smoke weed?" And I was like, "You smoke weed?" And we're Italian, so it's a little like kind of like crack, like some people like, ooh, weed.
People look at it all crazy.
Yeah, still to this day, I mean, culturally. And he came by my booth and he was just like, leave and come work for me. And I thought it was going to be like corporate, like what it was in Colorado, but it wasn't on the West Coast. It wasn't ready yet. And
Nice.
It was a complete different culture shock and environment. And that's how I got in there. And then, Dot Connector, what we were doing collab wise, he's a marketing genius, what he creates. And like, we kind of just blew up.
Social media presence.
Social media presence. Yes, we've lost a lot in social media. There are a lot of accounts taken down, a lot of money spent, like hundreds of thousands trying to like recover and recoup. I think what really got us big was we did collab boxes with growers and like known genetics at the time, probably like 2018, 2019. Yeah, probably 2018 to 20.
Yeah.
I mean, one of our blunts was selling for $120 in Cookies Melrose.
Wow.
That was standard for us. Our regular classic blunts with like just, an AK-47 strain in there or whatever was like $60.
Wow.
And we still hold that value in some markets, $50.
Yeah, for 2.5.
2.5.
Which is awesome. Yeah, I love hearing stories where people are able to keep high prices. I think it's so important that, there has to be a balance because it's gone the opposite way for the most part. Everything's worth less than it used to be. Everything's sold for less. It's so competitive at the bottom. But I feel like at the top, there's not a lot of people that are selling their stuff for large amounts of money or for high dollar. But I feel like the ones that are killing it. They're doing really well, and it says something about their brand. And I don't think everybody could do that. It's like,
no,
there's so many components to it besides just having good flour. You have to have a reputable brand. What's going to make somebody go off the street if they don't know about the brand and buy it?
Exactly. So something, it's a double-edged sword for us, right? Yeah. So we got hit with it doesn't hit when we had to go to the rec market and go into an hemp blunt, right? So a lot of our street market was hating us. Yeah. Like it's not the same. Then as you grow and you get as big as we are, every market has different kinds of flour and different quality of flour. We're seeing that in New York right now, right? For the first 3 years, it was kind of poop flour,
right.
Now the flour's changing a little bit. So, we maintain that because we're more of a novelty brand. We're known for what we are. And we still probably are the best blunt.
Yeah.
Just because of the hand rolled and also because of our blunt wrap. Our blunt wrap sets us aside from anything.
Well, so you got to experience, we went and toured and saw the Roll Pros machine that we have. Yeah. And what do you think of that?
I think that machine is genius. I think, in order to get to the next level, you're going to need to automate, right? Like for the big guy to see you, depending on what your expansion plan is or really where you see yourself in the rec market, numbers get hit by automation. It's very hard to run a 40-person team. It's very hard to run a 20-person team and make sure that everybody shows up to roll 20,000 blunts, because you need to hit that production line.
Right.
That machine, I wish it could, save me on labor right now. That was the variance on it was great to see, like how he could just jump it up that 0.1 and like you see the numbers that are rolling out per pre-roll and you're like, okay, yeah, like it's 0.3, 0.4, 0.2, 0.3, but it's all within that. So it's like, that's really good. I like that.
Yeah. So I think Roll Pros is going to change the game. I think it's a big time game changer that's going to set a standard for the future. And it's something that we're going to look back and be like, oh, that was the beginning of the straight joints at scale.
What I've seen, which I've never seen before, was that little machine that he had at the end of the table where he was like testing the airflow.
Right, the draw check.
And I've seen that in the vape market because, again, what PAX is known for is our conceptual packaging, right? Yeah. Like, you're going to get a lot of comments on this when you post this video. Who's a hater? Who's, the brand's only good because the packaging is expensive or whatever the case may be. But like, I've seen it in the vape market where it's like, put the vape on it, see the airflow, what's going on in the atomizer, whatnot. But I've never seen it in producing flour of any sort.
Well, so we even use that for hand rolls now. Like literally we're testing the PSI for the hand roll joints that I make, that we work with. If I'm going to do those, we're testing to see if the airflow is correct. And the thing is there's deviation based on flour. There's there's different levels. So with the PSI, depending on the tissue type, you may want more PSI or less PSI. And so we can measure that on the machine and literally check the amount of airflow going in. And the thing is the tighter it's rolled, the less airflow, but you get whiter ash, right? So like if you want whiter ash, it's not just the flour component, it's the combination of that, the way it was rolled, the tightness, the temperature of that cherry, all those things come into play, but definitely the tightness is a huge factor on the color of the ash and the way it smokes. Sometimes the ash might not be as good, but you have a little more airflow and it actually smokes better. So it's just depending on personal preference.
So it's been a dream of mine to create a nice, skinny, Virginia Slim, feminine style joint.
Yeah.
Right. I have tried to do this infused, non-infused for maybe 7 years. Right.
Wow.
I always think that because everything is so small, you don't get the good taste of the flour. It starts to resin hit. And then it's like, this is disgusting. It doesn't taste well. And I'm such a flour smoker that like, the size of your pre-rolls that you were pumping out on that Roll Pro is like, the flour has to taste better. So like, question I have for you is if you get that down really small to that, I think it's like a 0.5 or something or a 0.05.
Yeah, that's
could
like
you maintain the flavor from the terps?
Well, so like if we're looking at a 5 millimeter, right?
Okay.
So like if we're looking at a 5 millimeter tip, which is really small.
Yeah.
That's like a toothpick.
Yeah.
It's like a little bigger than a toothpick. You might suck it in, but no, I mean, in all reality, but let's just say 0.65, right?
Yeah.
Something like 0.65. I think that's realistic. 0.65, 0.7s are pretty small. You can totally dial it in. You just basically adjust the airflow to what you're looking for. And it could have to do with the grind. You might not want to grind it up as much. You might want to grind it more. It's one of those things. I would assume that the grind that we're using would probably work. But if you want a little more airflow, sometimes more of a coarse grind makes a big difference. Sometimes it's how it's packed in there. So it's the density of it. And also just the tissue type, literally that specific cultivar. So like if you put Skittles in there, there's so many terps, it's so oily that it might get clogged. But if you take something that basically like cookies, for example, I think cookies would probably go in there and you just grind it with the grind that's on there. And the one that we're using already, which is a medium grind, it's like the medium fine, but like literally with that medium fine grind, I think it would probably smoke perfect. But these are all hypothetical and like
we got to test it.
So Z, he runs it and he's like, oh yeah, this, try smoking it. And so I smoke it and he's like, what do you think? And it's like, oh, that's perfect. Oh, that was too tight. Oh, try smoking this. This one's rolled. It's not as tight. There's a little more airflow. And then I'm like, oh, it gets better flavor. So like sometimes there's the argument, it's like, do we want more airflow so it tastes better or do we want whiter ash? Where's the perfect happy medium? There's somewhere in the middle where you're like, ooh, you get the flavor and the ash. That's what we're looking for. You don't always get that, but that's really the goal is to like, okay, strive for perfection.
The white ash gang. You gotta get the white ash. Otherwise, you're up for Reddit.
Yeah. People hate on it if the ash isn't perfect, but like for a machine rolled joint, it shouldn't be quite as important. It might be important, but like it shouldn't be as important, but the experience as far as like, does it smoke evenly? Does it taste amazing? Does it give you a good effect? I mean, the taste and the effect are the two most important things in my opinion, but then you can look at all these other factors, these quality indicators like white ash, oil ring. I mean, I think with depending on the strain, you can get a good oil ring. The chocolate runts, you get oil, you get white ash, you get all the boxes checked if it's done right. And Z really crushes it with the Roll Pros when he does it. And it's like, I think even the guys at Roll Pros were like, damn, how did you do that? Because it's perfect.
He's got it dialed in the machine better than them.
Literally 40,000 joints of trial and error where he went through and just kept rolling and rolling and rolling till he perfected it. And it's like, that's really what you got to do when you get a machine like that to dial it in. It's not like you just throw the flour in and it spits out joints. It doesn't work like that. There's so many little things
tweaks.
Literally adjustments.
Well, that's the thing with machines, right? Why some people get them and they don't, because you call your average machine, oh, something breaks down. They got to send the engineer or someone to service it. When are you going to get them there? You just ran your whole automation off of the machine.
Right.
This, and that, and it's down, right? So having someone like Z is a greater advantage because he's dialed into that machine.
Most important piece to owning a Roll Pros is a skilled operator.
Yep.
The flour, flour is important. It's super important, right? But next to a skilled operator, the skilled operator with the good flour, you're going to crush, right? But if you don't have either one of those, you're so screwed.
Yeah, honestly. Because he's in there with that air valve. He's like changing the pressure on it. I'm like, I wouldn't even know how to do this. And I brand flour.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what I'm known for. Like, I wouldn't even know, like, oh, take this LCG and like, let's drop the pressure on it because it's going to do that.
Yeah, good SOPs. Well, and also, so the other thing you have to have in a situation like that is you have to have a team around you that also consumes flour and smokes joints and knows what a good joint tastes like.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a good joint tastes like and you buy a machine and then you just roll to roll, you know, it's like unless you have people like that around you, it's going to be really hard for you to roll a perfect joint.
Yeah.
So I think there's so much that goes into it, but it's all these steps, right? And then at the end of the day, the QC at the end, like, okay, well, who's trying this out to make sure it's good? How long is the shelf life on that? If we roll it now, is it going to be good in 3 months, right? And we're learning now that certain things, the Dream Candy, which is the LC, so that's a lemon cherry gelato.
Dream Candy.
Dream Candy, which is a Blue Dream times double lemon cherry. It does not last. Like 6-8 weeks, the way it was stored, it was bad. So maybe, you know, we work with Grove and Terp Locks. And so we're putting everything in Terp Locks now to preserve it. But literally some of the stuff that we rolled when we got the machine November 1st, it's not good. But then some of the stuff is still like smokes. And it's just the lemon smoke's really good.
You said that. You said it maintains its taste.
I feel like a year from now it'll smoke good because it's just like you could it's like really oily lemon. Like you could rub it on your hands and then smell your hands and your hands totally smell like in an hour or 2 hours later. So yeah, it smells like a cleaner almost, like a lemon cleaner.
So, you know, it's that most potent, like energizing cleaner scent.
Totally, pine sol.
Terpene.
Yeah, but turpentine is made from terpenes, right? So like terpenes are volatile and
they're involved in everything.
Yeah, well, they make chemical cleaners with terpenes.
The Roll Pro though, dang, I was a little sad that, you know, we have to be that niche with our material that I couldn't see it on that machine. But I think, you know, all those joints that came out looked great. I'm smoking every last one that you gave me. I'll do some QC for you anytime.
Nice. Well, yeah, and the new machine that you didn't get to see is the Blackbird, the double XL.
For the bigger one.
So yeah, that goes to 2.5 grams, right? And so, and it does, they have a blunt wrap that's hemp wrap that's on the bobbin just the same way, right? And then they could put glass tips on there, and it actually wraps the cigar band, the sticker that goes around, on there too. So it's pretty cool. You can see them online, but I feel like that might be a good solution for you guys.
I'll ship you guys, you know, the wraps and the glass tip whenever, and we could just see if it works.
Yeah.
Because that is, I mean.
Well, so our partners here, we have some other partners, and we're going to be doing the small joints for them. They're going to be doing the bigger joints for us initially till we scale up and get the XL of our own. I
do have the heavy though. So the heavy is the equivalent to, which is just paper. Yeah. So I'd like to see that with the glass tip, if it's on any paper, just to see like a sample of it being rolled.
Yeah, we can send them out.
Yeah.
There's hemp companies doing them. Yeah. So like literally, I can get you one out tomorrow.
Love it. Fast and forward, like with the new machinery.
It's all about, and I feel like, you know, there's always going to be a place for hand rolls. I'm not going to take that away from the hand roll guys because I'm also a hand roll guy. We do hand rolls, we do machine rolls, we do, you know, basically we do tolling, we do everything. And so we're up here, and if you need your flour rolled, we'll roll it for you. You need flour, we can put our flour in, you can white label it. I can hand roll it, we can machine roll it. We have guys that hand roll it, like literally that roll amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And that isn't going to get replaced by a machine necessarily, but there's room for both.
Yeah.
Right. And there's certain brands that are going to want that hand rolled experience for their customers. And then there's guys that are going to want to be price sensitive, and they're going to want a good experience for a good price. And so I feel like there's something for everybody, and it's not a one size fits all solution. None of it is.
Yeah. It's hard for us to constantly drop with the price because of the labor that goes into everything. So when the market starts to, you know, go through a price compression, we as a brand, we feel it in terms of units sold on the rec side, because I just don't have the ability to really chop it. Now, depending on where and what market we're in, and our input is really what matters. So like Massachusetts, we have incredible flour.
Yeah.
And crap market, but
they're
great
known
flour.
They're known for great flour.
They have good flour. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I love a blunt out of my mass market.
Well, shout out to everyone in Massachusetts because I feel like they have really good flower. I got friends in Massachusetts that go way back. I used to go visit them all the time. But I feel like the flower over there, they get it. They get quality flower. And New York is another one. They've got quality flower there, but it's also, they got everything there. You can get anything there. Like literally, you want any level of anything.
New York rec or other side?
I mean,
everywhere.
Both.
Okay.
But also rec has some interesting stuff over there for sure.
Rec got some interesting things going on. You know, they really tied our hands behind our back with that market, you know, entering a market and doing like grow regulations in terms of like, you know, only outdoor and not allowing indoor and all the games they really wanted to play because they could.
Right.
It really like, it was either, you got to look at it like this in terms of a business. Do you want to enter the market? Because you know, when you enter the market, it's like the numbers are high in the beginning. Right. And then when you have experience like we do, we want to enter the markets in the beginning for sure before all the other players come in and the price drops.
Right.
But then it comes with a risk, right? Because it's not the packs you smoked in LA. It's not the packs you got in Mass or like even Colorado. Like we have a great blunt in Colorado.
I love Colorado too.
Love Colorado.
And they have some amazing brands in Colorado. They have amazing flower. There's not that many brands out there. There's not that many manufacturers out there. There's very limited, you know, I heard one time that there's only 4 like large companies that own the majority, that own like 90% of Colorado.
Really?
Yeah.
I know they were very limiting on their license, and that's why when other states started to open up, they were like, don't do what Colorado did. They're not letting everyone enter. Like there's no social equity in this. But I think it's a very scientific, like the way they grow is like down to a science.
You almost have to because of the climate,
weather.
Right? So like literally it is so dry in Colorado for the most part, you know, but I feel like through the consolidation of adult use cannabis, there's only 4 major players, you know, and there might be more now, I'm not sure, but I know that was the case for a while. We got some of them out here like Cam. Anna came from Cam out to California. She's rocking the Cam brand, killing it out here.
Flower's hard in Colorado, again, because of the climate. But that's why, you know, they're kind of, I say, the creators of the concentrates. Like, you know.
They kill it with concentrates.
They kill it. Everyone that's big comes out of them. You know, you got the 710s. You have Laser Cat, which no one knows about, but he's like insane when it comes to concentrates. Oleo. So a lot of people came out of there. I love the Colorado market.
Yeah, I do too. Eden Farms. I went and toured Eden Farms. They're way far away. They're like 3 hours outside of Denver. And they're 3 hours west. And it's a beautiful drive. They do living soil, and it's just incredible rosin. And the rosin carts they make are some of the best. Like literally, I love the effect of their carts and the quality of their rosin. It's really special. And you know, I like everything, but like as far as different styles, but as far as like when it comes to carts, theirs are some of the best I've ever had.
I still smoke carts. You know, being in New York, it's like, okay, the smell of weed is everywhere, but like, I still smoke a cart in some places.
I do too. I still like carts. I still like carts for the convenience of it in the car. I don't want my car to smell like weed. I don't want to get pulled over with the car that smells like smoke. Also, I don't like smoking joints in the car because I don't like that nasty smell
air
afterwards.
Freshener smell, like the airflow smell, which is like, you can't avoid that, right? I also don't like that. It like makes your whole air vent stink if you smoke in the car.
Exactly. It's gross. And I love joints. Don't get me wrong. I smoke lots of joints. I mean, as everybody knows, I smoke lots of joints, but in the car while I'm driving, it's not my thing. It's like you see cigarette smokers smoking with rolled up windows.
Rolled up. My grandma, God rest her soul. My grandma, we laugh about this like all the time. In the 90s, in the early 2000s, she would like come pick us up from all our sports. Like we're like athletes in Florida, like playing AAU, whatever. And she's like smoking her Marlboro Red with the ash, with the white ash down all the way. And like the windows cracked this much. We're like inhaling cigarette smoke. We're like, oh, well, back in the 90s.
Yeah. But it's wild out here, you know, and it's funny because New York and California in some ways are so different, but there are a lot of similarities.
Yeah. Lawlessness that's the similarity, right? Everyone's untouchable and they're just like in their own world doing their own thing.
Yeah. Seriously. Well, New York's changed so much as far as cannabis. You couldn't go around smelling like cannabis at all. It was like stop and frisk. You know, I mean, I remember the first time I flew in to go to the High Times office, they're like, man, just make sure when you get off the airplane, you don't smell like weed. So I've made sure to vacuum seal everything. Yeah. And this was 2000. This was only 2012 2012 or 2013. You know, when I headed to the office with a bag full
But
of weed.
still wasn't really legal anywhere yet in that time. So yeah, I guess still a spook to everyone, right?
Totally. Good times though. And now it's like pretty wild and open and
very open.
The bodegas.
The bodegas are one thing. They've kind of, you know, they're hiding it. You know, they got to see you a few times before they just openly say like they're going to sell something. But what I don't like is people that smoke openly, like if somebody's walking with a kid or like even around older generations, because we still have some pretty cultural neighborhoods in New York. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm clueless all the time because I've been in weed for 12 years. So, you know, everything we're doing is smoking a joint here. Like, it's so open for us, but
smoke on the stoop. Smoke on the stoop.
But like, for instance, my old Italian neighbor, like, you know, I might cross the street when I'm smoking a joint if she's outside.
Yeah, I think there's levels to politeness. You know, and it's like some people want to put it in everyone's face, and I don't think that's necessary because I feel like if you choose that life, it's okay. But if you don't, it's also okay. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me if you don't like being around weed smoke. In fact, I totally understand not wanting to be around smoke. It's like, I don't like being around cigarette smokers. Like in Vegas, like cigarette smoke just bothers me now. I used to be a cigarette smoker too, but I don't like being around cigarette smoke for whatever reason when it's, or like we go to the club sometimes and it's like the place where you can light up and it's just, you leave smelling like cigarettes.
Ugh, the worst.
I like having short hair because cigarette hair the next day is the worst.
Yeah. I can never do cigarettes. I always thought the cool of it, like the vintage and retro look was like so like wanted to incorporate it in so many ways of branding, but like I can never handle cigarettes and I can't handle nicotine. Yeah. But like put weed in front of me, I could smoke from morning till night.
Yeah.
Probably every hour.
Yeah, and I like the effect of nicotine too, but I just don't like cigarettes, and I'll smoke cigars every once in a while. I think nicotine, they're finding out a lot of things about nicotine and cancer. Like I get all this cancer research stuff.
And dementia, they're saying with nicotine. Yeah. They're doing a lot of nicotine trials in terms of like
low dose THC and nicotine for Alzheimer's. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, that's what I heard.
That's what you heard? Yeah. Well, that's probably why they declassified it, rescheduled it so that they could start doing things like this.
I think that it's all necessary. It's interesting, and we'll see the direction it goes, but it's in the right direction. I would rather it got descheduled than rescheduled, but it is what it is, and you know these are the steps we have to go through.
You know, people ask me a bunch of questions again because I'm in so many markets, and all these markets are completely different, and the entryways to get into these markets, like you know. In Arizona is different from in Missouri or whatever the case may be. And I think it still needs time. Like I'm in a medicinal market right now in Florida. I kind of like it medicinal. I know everybody wants it to go rec because it's however many stores you can open. There's no like number set stores that you can open. Once you have a license, you can open as many as possible. Wow. So the hope is to go rec because the barrier is obviously the card. But I still think you're making your best money, believe it or not, now.
Yeah.
And that's your real smoker, right? Like they went to get the card to do this.
Yeah.
And we all know the telemed stuff and you know barriers of entry are pretty low to get that. So like, yeah, they wanted to really be in it. And I still think we need a little bit of time to figure out, you know, here's the thing. Distros acting in each state and only servicing one state can't get it together. And then you've seen some of the biggest logistic companies come in, build these distros and their backgrounds are UPS or FedEx, and they still couldn't get it together. They went bankrupt, you know? So it's like, I think we need a little bit of time before it's like federal and people can take out loans to get involved in it and everything like that.
I sure hope it happens sooner. I mean, the banking stuff is good, and I think the potential, but I agree. I think the logistics is kind of a nightmare when these companies are struggling in one state.
Yes.
And we're about to have interstate commerce potentially. Right now, it's hard to say what's going to happen because tomorrow it could be completely different than today. It might be next year. It might be a couple of years. You just never know. It's so volatile and it's like unstable and unpredictable.
Super unstable.
And the prices all over the place from state to state. It varies so much.
And to be quite honest, like what I've seen is like 3 years in the beginning.
Yeah.
Every state, about 3 years.
The first 3 years is rough.
And then it starts to drop. And then you have your people that can't hang on. And then you have your debts that are crazy. And people are just throwing product onto the retailers because it's like, well, you got an IOU, right? You have this much of my product. You'll pay me this back.
Right.
And then, all these people go out of business and you're left not collecting. But I still think it needs time before it's there.
Well, you look at Colorado and Washington as examples of states that I thought had it together, and I thought it was like bulletproof to a degree. And then Washington went through this huge, second consolidation, and Colorado has now been struggling. And I think some of it has to do with the economy. And I think those two markets are more mature than California in a lot of ways. They're more stable in a lot of ways, but still they struggle along with the rest of us.
So Colorado, I'll say two problems for them. They're too grassroots.
Yeah.
They don't want anyone from anywhere, other brands, even down to their clothes. It's weird. It was a weird time living there. But also, I think their biggest issue is think about how much nationally or in each state, if you look at statistics, flour sells, right? So they could do much better if they could get their flour there, but really concentrates, hold it down for them in that market.
Yeah.
California, obviously flour, a lot more numbers, a lot, larger population, but Colorado, I can't complain about it for my brand. We are freaking doing well in Colorado. And we didn't enter till very late. We didn't enter until maybe 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And we dropped with just 2 SKUs. We went with our classic blunt because that's what we're known for. And then we dropped really with vapes there because that's the best concentrates.
Yeah. I mean, vapes in Colorado. Yeah, I bet it's I bet it's a good SKU as far as extracts. Literally, Nicotine, good friend of mine, killing it still in Colorado. He's from the Bay and lives in Colorado because he's the extract guy. And he's the OG. He's the original guy who was making solventless, right?
Yeah,
that's his term, actually.
I remember going to see all these kids doing the ice bats and everything, and I was like, "What's going on here?" I didn't even know yet.
Yeah.
I was just flour.
Yeah. And they're making bubble hash.
Yeah.
Like ice and
What are they called? The peer pressure machines or something like that? It's something pressure. It has yellow in the font. But that was a whole new thing for me. And something that I'm still not I don't understand the pricing too much on SKUs like that. It's not really too much that I know. And I also don't ingest weed that way. I don't smoke dabs or anything. So it's kind of a whole other world to me.
Hash holes?
Hash holes, yes. I actually smoked a Fidel's on the way up here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They're great.
Good hash hole.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, hash holes are so tricky because it's that. It takes a skilled roller to roll a proper hash hole. You have to have the right material. You have to have the right flour with the right rosin. And then, it's there's certain ways to roll them. There's certain ways to not roll them. And each person has their own style. And that's kind of what I love about the hash holes is you look at from brand to brand, there's so many different styles. And it's got its own feel to it where it's a lot of the flower market, everything kind of feels the same. It feels very different with hash holes.
Yes. And it is because it's a different, really different SKU.
It's very niche and very craft and very niche. Boutique.
Very cup based, I feel like that's a product for the cups.
Yeah. Well, and it's not the average person isn't going to go out there and spend $70 on a hash hole.
Yeah.
Right. Or $50 on a hash hole or whatever, anywhere from $30 to $100 for hash holes.
What's it look like in the California market now? Is anyone coming to you to manufacture white labeled hash holes?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been talking to a couple brands about white labeling and then also just doing the rolling and working with them. It's I think the hash hole market's going to grow. The the number one SKU in California is pre-rolls, is the 1 gram pre-roll. I think that started in August was the number one SKU, and that's only going to grow. I mean, I can predict it right now. The future of this industry is pre-roll joints and vape carts. It's just the way it's going to be, and not in a bad way. I think that you look at tobacco and there's very little loose tobacco sold, right? And cannabis is going to be like that. There'll always be people like this that love flower. I love flower. I love rolling my own joints. But most people don't know how to roll joints and they don't want to learn and they don't want to take the time to do it. And stuffed options aren't as good. You're not going to get as good an experience, in my opinion. Stuffed is okay too, right? If you want to smoke a stuffed joint and you want to stuff your own, that's an easy way to do it. But honestly, if you can give something to somebody where it's like, we were talking about all these different options right now that are ready to consume, like literally ready to consume, whether it's gummies or beverages or joints or blunts, pre-rolls, however you're doing it. In my opinion, that's what people are going to want in the future because we have this need for instant gratification. We want it right now. We want it as fast as possible. We don't want it to waste our time. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I have to roll the joint. That's like taking up time that I don't have.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing.
So sometimes I wake up occasionally and I'm like, I'm not smoking weed. Like, think about it. It takes me 30 minutes to get my day started because, I got to wake up and roll this joint and it's like a whole thing that goes on, right? And it's like, I'll only smoke a few pre-rolls. Like, the quality is usually not there, which is why as someone that's a flower smoker, like I don't like pre-rolls, but like you're a roll pro, I'll smoke every last one of those joints, every flavor. And like my girlfriends have been smoking weed for as many years as I have. And when we go to like our stoner girl nights together where we're just like, everyone bring weed and whatever, they break out the cones. And I'm like, guys, we're not doing the cone thing. There's holes in the cones. Like you guys are stuffing them. Like there's, it's not hitting right. It's running all the way down the side. Like, but they can't roll. None of them can. And the reason why they stick to that cone is because they don't really like the quality of the flower in pre-rolls. And if like Roll Pro changes the game, or that's what it's called, a Roll Pro, right? Changes the game.
Right.
Good fucking 1 gram joint that can't be beat.
Right.
Nice
well, you
and
get
thick.
that same experience and it's consistent, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. And there's nothing wrong with cones. And I think there's some people that do cones with good flower in them. But for the most part, I feel like that the experience that I've had is that they have more consistency with the Roll Pros, with the straight joint than you do with the cone. There's less clogging. You get clogs. If you smoke really good flower in the cone, sometimes they clog. So it's just a personal preference thing. It's subjective, but I feel like you get the most consistent, best experience with the straight joint.
I know everything is a preference, but that's kind of why we've stuck with the hand rolling of our 3 products because, every partner is going to ask us to automate things, right? Make the cogs go lower. But like every joint that's coned and automated and thrown into a future roller, whatever the case may be, like doesn't matter what the crowning mechanism is on, it runs. It just doesn't hit the same that tubular joint hurts. And then if you go into the what's made now for automation that's tubular, it just is like the weed gets too fine or something. And there's a disconnect. Right. So like, this right here, what you're doing.
Well, so, it's funny because like if we start looking at the anatomy of a joint, if it's a cone, at the top, you're going to have the hottest cherry. And at the bottom, you're going to have the coolest part of the cherry, right? And so I really thought about all this stuff. Like every last detail, we went over it. And I'm like, if I could roll the perfect joint, I'd want the opposite. I want it to burn cooler in the beginning so I get the terps that are volatile and I'm not destroying those terps. And then as it goes down, there's all that oil and all that resin. And you want to burn that up and it's going to require a hotter temperature, right? So like if I could roll the perfect joint, I would almost roll the opposite of a cone. Skinny to fat, which is so weird because that doesn't make any sense. But if you look at just that aspect of the cherry, and that's why the straight is your best option, in my opinion. It's like, that's just one of those little things like that one detail right there of the cherry temperature changing. It's like, cause you can take a temperature again and that cherry is going to slightly change throughout as far as if you're smoking a cone. And the bigger the cone with, like the more diameter it goes down to, the more that's going to change. So
there's a science to it. There's a lot of years doing this, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of cone stuff. Like my company, though, we do have a Glone, which is a glass tip cone.
Really?
And we developed that as well. It comes in a 2 and a 3 pack again, because we wanted to maintain the glass tip. That's kind of what we're known for. And we put a piece of paper in it that actually protects the structure. So when you open up the package, instead of it just being like, okay, here's your cone and then here's your tube to stick it with, you take the paper out, drop the cone through it. Yeah. And the glass gives it some weight so it holds in. And then as you stuff it, you pull the paper through and it helps keep like a tight pack and structure of the cone.
Nice. Yeah, it's the John Carlos ones I showed you. They kind of do something similar.
Yeah.
That's what those tubes are. Yeah, it's interesting because there's so much science and it takes years to actually make a product like that good. Most people don't even, and even with all the products that are out there, it takes years to perfect them. Yeah, you might get lucky and just copy other people, but whoever came up with the tech, it took years for it to get to that point.
The blunts were hard for us. This was good. We have someone on our team. He is one of the other owners where he is very meticulous on these conceptual designs.
Yeah.
And sometimes they take so long and you can't even put them into market because it just doesn't make sense. But ideally, it would be great. But we kind of, developed these ancillary products because of the negative connotation with pre-roll. So it was basically like, okay, well, we're known, our tagline is we roll different. So we'll give you the material that we use, which is our proprietary material. And you got the better flower, you have whatever, try it out. And people love the pack wraps and glowns.
Yeah, people love, the ones that roll and they love to roll, they just absolutely love it. And I think that's never going to change. Those people are going to roll forever. And it's like, there's still people that roll tobacco. So it might be a small percentage, but there's always going to be people that want to roll their flower.
Yeah.
People that want loose flower, and then they want the proper tools.
Yeah. Time is always where the pre-rolls come in.
Time, it's something that we never have enough of.
Never.
No, especially in New York. I feel like my friends in New York, in LA too, those two cities especially.
There's not enough hours in the day for sure to get anything done. Then you incorporate traffic, which is just in LA and New York takes half of your life.
Yeah.
Being in traffic for anything. We do have mass transit, which helps out a little bit that you guys kind of don't have. It just depends on if you want to be caught in mass transit situations.
We got Teslas here.
You got Teslas here.
Yeah, we got Teslas.
And what's it called? The Waymo or something? That
we got
car
Waymos,
with the camera?
Yeah. We got Waymos. There's a new one also that doesn't have a driver, that you sit and you look at each other, and they started in Las Vegas and now they're here. They're boxy looking.
That's crazy. That is freaking nuts.
That's the new one. But it's a trip. It's really interesting. How's sour diesel in New York? Is people still stoked on sour diesel and piff?
Yes, people are still smoked on sour diesel, but I feel like people are more hooked on sour diesel and haze and this so that they could argue with people. Like, oh, but this wasn't the haze back in 19, and this wasn't the haze from here. And it's like, you're right. It's not, because it's the haze from New York 2025 rec. That's what haze it is, So, but still a hit. Those, I call them block strains.
Yeah.
People just want those specific things. I think they're always chasing a nostalgia.
Yeah. Those block packs.
Yeah, those block packs. Yeah. And they're always chasing this nostalgic point in their life of when they were smoking weed back in the day.
Totally. Well, and I think our memories lie to us sometimes. Not always with flavor. For me, it's like, if you show me sour diesel, I'll be like, yep, that's it.
I wouldn't even be able to tell you, to be honest. And it's not something that I smoke. I'm a candy gas smoker. Yeah. I love candy strains. I love citrus strains also. For a while, I only smoked CBX L'Orange.
Wow.
I love CBX. They're a great grower, in my opinion.
Nice.
Anyone could shit on me if they want, but I think they come out with some great stuff.
Nice.
But their L'Orange would have you stuck like an indica high. It was so strong for a sativa that you were just had to think about things for a second.
It's interesting because, it's like we talk about, this is a great example of why sativa, indica.
New classification.
Yeah, literally sativa. They're all sativicas. But literally indica sativa hybrid, that doesn't work anymore, right? And it doesn't work anymore because everything's so hybridized. You can get the effect of a sativa, even though it's terpene based, a lot of it, right? But it has other terpenes and cannabinoids that you don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
Right? But it can give you a similar effect to something that we would once call an indica. And really indica is the wide leaf versus the narrow leaf. But now we're talking about terpenes. But I've seen lemon on a wide leaf variety, and I've seen some funky stuff that's definitely gassy on a narrow leaf, right? And so it's really, we really need to change the way we look at the plant.
Purchasing. So I call this purchasing psychology.
Yeah.
And because I'm in so many markets, you kind of see the different levels of education and what they focus on. So I remember back in California, we were selling, eighths at $32, let's say, right? Sure. You wanted your stuff to be all over Melrose, right? In any of the stores on Melrose at the time. They came out with this all of a sudden. They're not buying anything at $30 if your THC isn't at 30%.
Oh, it's crazy.
And it was like, and this was like 2020 and it was like all of a sudden, I call it like a buyer psychology. Like every buyer all of a sudden was like, we're not buying this at $30 unless it's 30%. And we're like, how many strains actually get to 30%? Like, at that time,
Even now, it's such bullshit, right? That part is such bullshit.
I think that kind of contributed to the start and fall of like the market tanking here, because it really hurt a lot of brands. Brands had to like liquidate and be like, okay, well, like now I'll sell my stuff for 28 or 26, and then it just continuously went down. And like we're seeing this in New York, these buyers and all of these people that are in the retail side of things asking for, things that like, where do they come up with this? Like, I'm not going to buy the weed if it's not at this percentage, right? So then that causes everybody to do their testing things that they need to do, or like
the manipulation.
The manipulation. Exactly.
It's really sad.
Exactly. And if you're so educated, then you should know that there's different components to the weed and cannabinoids, and how there's hundreds of cannabinoids, and like, all of them need to be present, and weed is different, So it's crazy, the buyer psychology.
You don't go in and buy alcohol and go buy 151 because it tastes good, because 151
it's freaking gonna torture you.
I want the strongest alcohol possible. I just want pure ethanol.
99 bananas, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's so crazy, but I think that's just a sign of an immature market.
Yeah.
And those are the things that change over time. Is like we start refocusing. Skittles tests in the mid to low 20s typically. Sometimes it might test a little more, but it tests super high in terpenes.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you know these things, you can go in a shop and go, I'm looking for this type of thing. But a lot of times people go in, they don't want to ask anybody because they're like, it's kind of weird in here. And then they're like, oh, I just want the strongest THC. It's such a weird thing.
The strongest THC people really go for. And like, I have a brand in New York outside of PAX. It's called Smart Bud. Might have known it a long time ago. It was like in the cans, and it's made a comeback. And it is a decently priced 5-pack. Of pre-rolls, 8s and flour as well, and 2-packs. And a few of the batches have come low. You're buying smalls, but good quality smalls, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and people just will sometimes be like, oh, I'm not going to reorder this, or I'm not going to sell this because the THC isn't there. And it's like, how high do you think the THC is getting in these pre-rolls? Yeah. Dude. Unless you add keef and this and all these other, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But on whole flour, like, but the flavor is there. It's great.
Yeah.
The white ash is there. The burn is there. Mm-hmm. Like, and I just like, I don't understand where all of this like buyer psychology comes in.
It's a weird thing, but again, it's a sign of an immature market.
Yeah.
People wanting, they want, 50% THC in their pre-roll that they don't understand. To get 50%, it means they're putting some distillate in there.
Yeah.
Or they're putting some isolate in there.
Yeah.
Or they're putting some hash in there of some sort. And that could be okay. Like bubble hash in there, sure, that's great.
Yeah.
Rosin in there, yeah, that's great. But you start putting isolate and distillate, and I don't think it's as good of a product. Like you're taking away from it.
100%. And like I kind of learned, I didn't know, like you grew up in New York, you're like, you smoke Dutches, whatever weed. I remember going to college and like the mass text gets sent out like, got the fire, orange hairs, or like, the little things at the times that teased everybody for buying, but it was never like sativas or this. And then you get to like the real world where you have to make packaging and classifications and like all of this verbiage that's going to be able to translate what you want as soon as the buyer looks at it, because you're trying to reel them in on effects. And it's just like, at this point, with all the breeding that's going on, everybody blowing up from breeding and, all these seed drops internationally, it's like almost everything is a hybrid.
Yeah. Pretty much everything is hybrid. Yeah. There's exceptions. There's landrace stuff still around, some of it, but it's few and far between. I do love the good African land races, the Durban Poisons, the Malawi Golds, the Red Congolese. I think those three, and there's other ones too, but those are like the three common ones, and they're all very different. Those are all amazing if they're done right. But even now, I see the Durbans are not Durban like I saw before.
Yeah.
It's a different version of Durban, and it could still be somebody's Durban. It wasn't the Durban that I grew up with. Red Congo is pretty like, if it's real Red Congo, I can tell right away and it gives me the giggles. That's the one where I laugh. And then the Malawi is the one that's super strong where like it gives me the sweats. I get the cold sweats.
I have a question because I don't come from like the seed side of things.
Yeah.
My grandfather was in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
He brings me probably a few months ago a box of seeds.
Yeah.
But they're not preserved or anything. They look like this.
Ouch.
Nothing can happen with them, right?
Oh, embryo rescue. So this is the thing. It's unlikely that they will germinate if he brought those back from Vietnam. But you never know. I mean, I guess the biggest thing that I would do is if there's lots of them, I would break a couple open that look like they might be good seeds, especially if there's lots of them, to see if there's any living material in there or if it's completely dry all the way through. Depending on where they were stored, if he had them in a cool place for all that time, maybe. They're germinating seeds that are thousands of years old.
It's crazy.
Right? And so there's potential that you can germinate. You can do embryo rescue. It's in tissue culture. It's like the game of operation. It's so crazy watching guys do embryo rescue because literally they soak it in a hormone and then they get that seed coat and they actually pry it off and then they pull out the embryo and put it in culture and it grows in culture.
That's
a
crazy.
completely sterile environment. It's a trip. And like, the thing is I drink lots of coffee.
Yeah.
And so my hands jitter. And so like, I try to do some of this TC stuff, the Meristem TC work. And it's just, my hands shake just a little bit too much to be able to work on that microscopic level under a microscope with my eyes and my hands working together properly.
How many people are really doing that?
There's a handful of them in the world. I mean, in this industry, there's more and more every day, it seems like. But like true Meristem work where you're working under a microscope, I only personally know 2 people that do it out of this whole industry. And I know a lot of people in the industry. And there's other people that probably do it. They'll probably come on my podcast and be like, well, I do it too. And well,
here we go. You're going to get all the pings now.
I don't mind. But my good friend Justin does it and he does it really well. And he doesn't have a college degree, but he's figured it out. It's like there's a handful of people that can do it really well, but it's actually one of those things like I could see having to take like some sort of pill to like slow it down so you didn't shake as much. Because like there's no way the condition I'm in right now that I could do that under a microscope because it's kind of like peeling the layers of an onion back to try to get to the Meristem.
Impossible.
Yeah, it's wild.
I can never do it. One, I don't have the patience and like to sit there and like play through a magnifying glass to whatever. But incredible. Yeah. Embryo.
Yeah. You're literally, you're growing on a cellular level. So you're taking basically undifferentiated cells. If you do it correctly, you're getting undifferentiated cells. So you're growing a plant out of cells. And it's so just to think that
just wild.
It's like just to think about it like that you're growing on a cellular level, you're growing a plant. It turns into a whole plant and a whole clean plant that's free of pathogens and systemic bacteria and any sort of problems. And it's pretty wild that you can do that, with science.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It really is crazy. I bet you some guys in Colorado are doing that.
Absolutely.
Has to be.
For sure. No, there's guys in every state doing it. There's guys in Maine. I know that do, they're doing it. And the thing is, it's not just exclusive to cannabis. It's being done for everything. As far as agriculture, it's being done for everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a
cool
trip.
that weed's on that level now,
Yeah, well, I'm finally catching up, right? And it's like and then same thing with triploids. It's like we're catching up on the triploids. Like they make watermelons, seedless watermelons are triploids, right? It's not genetic engineering. It's not GMO like a lot of people think. But triploids basically, they're basically taken in. They're not editing the genes, is what I meant to say.
Okay.
But what they're doing is basically applying that to cannabis now. The only problem is these guys in cannabis are fucking it up because in agriculture, what they do is they do the breeding program and the breeding projects. And at the end of the breeding program is where they do the triploids, basically making them so they don't accept pollen, or like in the example of a watermelon, it's a seedless watermelon, right? And so they've basically made a stable genetic and then they do it. Well, the cannabis guys are like, we want to just do it now. And so that's a problem.
We don't want to stabilize anything.
No, we don't want to stabilize. We don't need to stabilize it. They already have the technology. Let's do that. And and there's like things that you can do, like haploid breeding, which is making a stabilized F1. They're doing that. They're doing that really well. Some people are doing it extremely well. And so where you get a stable seed that's as stable genetically as a clone.
Wow.
So, and that's the future. So yeah,
That's
double
cool.
haploid breeding. It used to take, 7 to 10 generations. Now we're doing it in, a matter of a year and a half.
Majority of the world just thinks a bunch of stoners throw things into grows, whatever, and then that's the weed that comes out as long as it's tested, right?
Yeah, it's so funny because applying science is just going to make it even better over time. I think people think it's going to get homogenized and like we're going to lose the culture, but we got the Beard Brothers out there. We're not losing any sort of culture. Literally, we've got the Beard Brothers out there. I love the guys.
They're holding the culture down forever, though.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of people like that. So if people think the culture's going away, they're very short-sighted because there are people that are willing to die for this plant and fight for this plant. And so that's not going away anytime soon. And the culture's not going to get homogenized. I mean, part of it might with commercialization, but that happened with disco, right? Like literally.
Happens with anything. Listen, I feel like our brand has gone through those effects, right? You kind of have to you have to pick a path, right? Is our expansion plan to be in as many places as possible? Then we know the quality is going to diminish in some places because, we have to source and go into different types of markets and develop different products that match that market. It may not necessarily be the same as what Florida wants or what, Missouri wants or even Montana. But for us, like anything else, globalization is where you want to be when building a brand, right? So sometimes, like I say, Massachusetts, crap market, vertically integrated. There is where you already have the big 5 or the big 10. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very challenging market, but they have good products. So our product is good. Our partners are sourcing incredible flower. Yeah. And then that correlates to the price of my product there. Now you can see a real PAX product. In New York, I can't say that for the same. And that's a little challenging for us because we're from New York, we came from the street, we had those big collab products, and also being bootlegged kind of hurts us sometimes, that brand is everywhere. But expansions and becoming commercialized, the quality diminishes. It happens in fashion and happens in almost everything, right? It happens in hospitality like Soho House and so on, right? Or you could be the guy that doesn't want to grow because they're so my quality. And I need to oversee everything. And then your pod is going to be a little smaller. You're limited.
And
you're very limited.
Then if your price goes down, then
exactly.
Then you're in trouble.
We tried the opening up a manufacturing facility in every place because of our SOPs and trying to protect our SOPs because we were kind of one of the first to do this. And it just didn't really make sense. And you can, people come into this and they're like, we want to do delivery and be the Amazon of weed. And it's like, okay. Or we want to do this and be the Walmart of weed. And it's like, okay, great. But we figured out quick that the way to grow and how we can mimic and maybe mock a Coca-Cola is by focusing on licensing. Yeah. And, really giving them what they buy into the brand for and the full brand support and giving them the PAX experience, our partners, so that they can carry that on to their state. Because I'm a talker. I can go into any state. I can, hang out with the Cowboys. I can hang out with the Trap Boys. It doesn't matter. Right. And then I can hang out with the Canadians, which are a little bit different. Yeah. But not everyone can do that. So it's you got to find the right partner that can get to the best of what you think in your head because it's not going to be what you doing it yourself is. And then give them the support to where it's almost your brand is there.
Right. Well, how do you guys deal with all the knockoffs? Because I know you guys have had to deal with all kinds of knockoffs. I've seen bags for flour, which I don't know if you guys ever had Mylar bags.
Once.
Yeah. And so, but I've seen them in smoke shops in the Bay Area. And it's you've got to be, it's one of those things that I guess it's a sign that you guys have been successful.
Yes. So in the beginning, we were chopping our heads off, who's copying us, this, and that, right? Us and cookies, I think, were the most copied at the time. And then that store Baggies on Boyd opened up and had everyone's packaging. And then there was really nothing that we could do. It was really us and our small team being in places and being like, oh, we never did that collab. Or people calling you and be like, hey, can I get this? And they send you a picture and they're like, we never even did that. Like, that's not something that we do. Still to this day, like I have people from Thailand sending me things. It's like, never did that. I don't know where you're getting that packaging from. But if you go on DHgate and anything, you're going to see our logo. So it is a double-edged sword, but also an honor in a way, because our product is everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's negative because, you know, you go to Reddit. The people's boards is what I call Reddit, sure. Right? And everybody's like, you don't know where they got their stuff from or whatever. So then people that pay attention to those outlets and those areas, you know, that information gets to them. But it's like, you want the exposure. People pay millions of dollars to get that exposure everywhere. And it's like, okay, bootleg us. That's cool. I don't know what else to tell you. Our stuff is in recreational stores. Right. In those states. And you can go to our website and you could pull up a store locator if you really want to know. But like, you know that if you're in whatever store on the corner of here and you're buying illegal stuff, that probably what they have is not ours. You know?
You should. Well,
yeah, you should though, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like, you know, cookies, how they blew up and then everybody hated them because everybody was buying cookies bags and putting whatever product in them and then people were trashing them. But it's like...
That's not the only reason they did
Well, a lot of reasons there are. But like, you know how the start of like the bootleg goes, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I think cookies also went into so many different states with so many different operators and no consistent SOPs in the beginning.
Yes.
Right. And I think they've done a good job at kind of like trying to correct that over time. But in the beginning, it's like, and then they put out like apples and bananas. I was there when apples and bananas was on the, you know, it was on the streets, it was everywhere. But apples and bananas is something very hard to grow, and people that grew it really well, everyone loved it. But the people that didn't grow it well, the people hated it that bought it. And so like, it's really tough when you have products like that go to different places where you have really good cultivators and really bad cultivators. And it's not like...
It's not consistent.
It's not the McDonald's French fry. That's what everybody wants. Like if you have a brand, you should even... It doesn't matter whether you like McDonald's French fries or you like McDonald's or anything like that. It's the consistency of those crispy friggin' French fries that have 40 ingredients in them. They come out exactly the same. No matter where you go in the world.
You just press...
it's like
and the microwave is the same too, though, probably in the build, right? So the wattage is probably the same.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's so funny. But really that's my analogy for like, if you want to, whether it's seeds, it doesn't matter. You want that McDonald's French fry. So anywhere in the world you go to get your product, it's exactly the same. And it's so hard to do. I think that's one of the hardest things out there, especially, I mean, I'm not a cultivator. I'm a breeder. I'm a genetics guy, but like from a cultivation standpoint, man, I would love to have my flower represented everywhere in the world where it's exactly the same.
But you know that's like semi-impossible.
It's semi-impossible.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, we're being kind, right?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible because climates are different.
Yes.
Access to equipment is different, but the potential for that is possible, but it's very expensive and very hard.
I was on a project in Oklahoma for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Dry, weird climate, right? I guess dry. I don't really know how to explain it. But also their water is really treated. Like all of their water treatment, they have a lot of borax in their water.
Really?
So their water softeners in every grow, you know, has some serious water treatment going on. And different areas, you know, are more borax concentrated than others, you know. But amazing grow. They had great genetics.
Yeah.
They couldn't dial it in because of the atmosphere. And it was just like a lot of money to waste, but also a lot of like, you know, watering, getting their nutrients and things correct because they were California growers.
Oh man.
OC came out there and it took them probably like 3 years before they got it ready.
Yeah. I gave my friend 5,000 seeds. My Oklahoma story is a bad one.
It's a bad one?
Yeah, so I gave my friend 5,000 seeds. He moved out to Oklahoma to go crush some seeds and was going to plant them outdoors and was like, yeah, I'll pay you back at the end of the season. I'm like, we're friends, whatever. And like literally locusts decimated the field. You know, and 5,000 isn't that many outdoors, but it's still, that's over an acre, just destroyed. right?
Waste.
But like learning experience. So
Learning
I was like,
experiences.
I don't want to go outdoors out there. That seems like rough. And I don't know anybody that's been successful out there. I'm sure there's been successful people out there for outdoor because I've heard about it, but never seen it firsthand.
Does their outdoor go into the $3 carts? Because that was some mind-blowing shit that I've never seen in my life.
$3 carts.
$3 carts. $3 510 carts. Maybe not
Crazy.
glass tip carts. Like when I went to Oklahoma, people were like, Amanda, this is unlike any other. And I go into one store and I believe it was Capital Dank and they held it down for Oklahoma. They have like a big series of stores and then there's Mango Cannabis and they are like big competitors in terms of retail.
No relation to Miami Mango.
No relation to Miami Mango. Yeah. Great guys though. Know what they're doing and they're entering New Mexico doing well. They also just entered New York in the Rochester area. So nice. I love them. They know how to run a retail business. But I go into Capital Dank and there's just like white baskets, like Sterlite baskets of carts, $3 and $5, $10 carts out the door. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I never seen something like this. Like what product is going on? It's all tested, but the testing is only $250. You know what I'm saying? Per batch. So like, all those costs drop a little bit. But it was just, I don't even know where all this product came from. They're still deli style too. So then in some jars, obviously standard of living and, income and whatever.
Chopstick deli style? For those of you guys that don't know, but old school deli style is the best. If you're in California, you don't even know what that is. If you're not older, that's the best.
Who has it still? Colorado and Oklahoma, maybe.
Yeah, where they literally,
New Mexico.
I think Oregon has it too.
Okay.
But like, that's my favorite is where they take the bud out of the big jar and they weigh it right in front of you and you get to see it and you can smell it and all that good stuff.
Big glass candy jars, basically. And then they just go in. But I mean, then in some stuff, it looked like twigs and people were buying this. And they're like, then I'm like working with the company and retailers are calling for like twig weed. Yeah. And I'm like, what the heck? I don't even know this existed. I've never even seen something like this. But Oklahoma I did also have some good product in Oklahoma though.
Nice.
Some good flower. New Mexico, surprisingly, I like that market. There's these guys out there. They come from Cali. They were the Andretti crew. So Currency built the brand Andretti OG. They basically broke off, went to New Mexico. Their brand is their vertical is called Amigos Cannabis. They have 4 retail stores. They're growing everything. Nice. And then they're doing some collabs with, I think it's Z Labs or something, and great rosin. The rosin out there is crazy.
New Mexico's crushing it.
Yeah.
They're doing great. I sell seeds out there to some people. And some of the farmers out there are really crushing it.
Yeah.
I love markets like that. I love Arizona too. Arizona's, I have a sweet spot for Arizona. But and it's like shout out to Earth's Healing in Arizona. Those guys are crushing it.
Really?
They grow some amazing flower, and they from the very beginning they were growing flower. The intent was to grow the best flower possible, and to scale from there. And they've really achieved that. And they're vertically integrated. They're doing it all vertical, and I love that. They went from indoor to greenhouse. Now they have greenhouse with supplemental. And so that mixed light flower, I think, is the ultimate. Yeah. And I think more and more, MSOs are going to see that too. Yep. And when it comes to like expanding, they're going to be like, well, what can we do where we can invest and we can save money? And mixed light gives us the benefit of the sun. The lower price point of the cogs are going to be lower. Yep. Right. And so we can really then take that and we can give people a better product for less money and we can still win. And I feel like that's kind of the future. Yeah. Other thing is the electricity is what kills everybody, right? So let's get rid of the electricity.
Yeah. So my boys were telling me, they're like, Amanda, 16, 18,000 in electricity bills in LA or 3,000 in New Mexico. Yeah. And I'm like, that's a no-brainer to me, right? I guess. Yeah. Obviously not as many people per capita, the dollar amount isn't really there, but you're able to grow quality and people that like quality. They'll pay for it. They'll find a way.
But eventually we're going to be able to cross state lines. Yep. And we're going to be able to produce it in Washington or New Mexico or wherever. And like, that's where the really big facilities are going to be.
And I mean, what they're doing is great. And I'm excited to see them take on some more stores and really get it going in New Mexico. Montana's a cool market.
Yeah. Montana, shout out to my friends in Montana. But I got friends out there. Yep. Skunk VA. We got Jason out there crushing it.
Okay.
Lucky Dog Seeds, Skunk VA. He's an amazing cultivator and breeder and steward of the plant. And I got to go visit him in Montana.
I got to go to Montana and check in on my team over there. But we're partnered with Frosties, and
nice.
they have a few stores, I believe, and we're doing pretty well in that market.
Nice.
It's gonna be a good market.
I bet it's a smaller market though.
Yeah,
too.
Of course, smaller, right? So
Right.
like we know our big markets are California, New York. Hopefully someone could get something going in Texas. Who knows?
Texas will be amazing.
Texas will be great.
I
if
love
anyone
Texas.
has the in on Texas, please Instagram me, Amanda X Cannabis. I would love to get involved in Texas before it really takes off. And whether
I kind of think it already really took off in a weird way.
In a weird way.
With THCA and the hemp on the hemp side and all the smoke shops, Texas really took off. I mean, there's more smoke shops than there are dispensaries in California. Right. There's more smoke shops in Texas than there are dispensaries in California. Wild.
Also, yeah.
Well, yeah.
What's the number one state besides Alaska? Land size.
Yeah, Texas, for sure. Yeah. Well, no, but it's amazing how it took off. And the funny thing is, what's really popular?
What?
Is the drinks, the beverages.
Really?
People love those beverages. I like the beverages too. I think from an outsider's perspective, it's not that I like drinking the beverages.
Yeah.
I like the appeal that I could give my mom a beverage and she'd be like, oh, this is great.
Really?
You know what I mean? Whereas I'm like not smoking joints with my mom. That's just, my mom has lung issues and other stuff. So she's not smoking.
If she didn't, would you smoke with her?
Absolutely. I would have
not my mother's name is Rita.
My mom and dad, they won't smoke. They won't smoke with me, but I would smoke with them. And my aunt, she's definitely a smoker. And even my family members that wanted to smoke, I don't think it'd be weird maybe with some of them if I asked them, but I'm not about to ask them. But if they asked me, I would be like, yeah, of course. But I also think that cannabis makes the world a better place. I think the effects of cannabis are good for all of us. I think we have these endocannabinoid systems that are necessary and they're not there for no reason, right?
Yeah.
It's not just that, and literally there's actually cannabinoids in breast milk. There is estrogen too, right? And all this stuff.
The products that everyone comes out with and this is, also the double-edged sword of marketing, right? Like, you're a woman, you need all the period weed, like the capsules and the this, and then they don't really work, I don't think. But so when I got sick, the first thing I asked was, can I smoke weed? And I thought that there would be I'm at a top research hospital, that there would be some type of script for some type of crazy medicinal weed. And my doctor was just like, my disease also isn't hormone fed.
Yeah.
So I have a genetic mutation that is, but it's not a direct correlation if I was to ingest weed. So, but weed is inflammatory. So, there are, if you want to go completely off an anti-inflammatory diet or whatever the case may be.
It can be inflammatory, but it also can be anti-inflammatory depending on cannabinoids.
On your cannabinoids.
Right. So if we start looking at specific cannabinoid, it's such a trip, right?
It's crazy.
It's such a trip that it can be dependent on the individual.
Yeah.
But if we look at CBD and CBG and the combination of CBD and CBG and some of these other cannabinoids, they are anti-inflammatory. And it's funny because that's why athletes should be using them. I mean, I think it could be the miracle drug, especially for athletes. And instead of taking pills, I think it's a great alternative.
Yeah, I'm not down for the pain pills. And again, when I got sick, it was everyone's like, oh, you've been in wellness your entire life. You've been in weed. Are you going to take the chemo meds? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take the chemo meds. I'm not going to smoke so much weed that it shrinks my cancer, because it's not. But I do smoke a lot of weed because of the nauseous effects of things. And for a lot of people on those meds, it really does help. So,
did you try RSO at all?
No.
Are you interested in it?
I don't know if I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
My meds are kind of state of the art, targeted therapy.
You got a long head of hair.
I got a long head of hair. I haven't lost my hair.
Yeah, so people don't understand that chemo now is not like chemo used to be.
Exactly.
And you don't go bald all the time with chemotherapy. Nope. There's different types of chemotherapy, just like there's different types of cancer. There's targeted chemotherapy as well. And, it's there's so many different types of cancer too. And it's like, and same
Crazy.
thing. RSO though, I think is really good for cancer, especially if your doctor says that it's okay. But I think my friend Brent Stevens that owns Flour Mill is working on this amazing software, and we're going to get him out to the podcast to talk about it. Yeah.
I use a Flour Mill. Where's his hat? Right here.
Yeah. That's my buddy Brent.
Yeah.
And he has this special software that basically that uses AI, but it's not just based on AI algorithms. It's actually hard coded, and they're doing a lot of stuff with research and then also suggesting certain type of medicine. So cannabis wise.
Let me get in on that.
Absolutely.
I'll be a tester for him or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with my meds, again, you know, when you first think of getting diagnosed with cancer, you're like, you're going to lose your hair. You're going to get all this. And my oncologist was kind of just like, Amanda, there are 1,000 people walking the streets of New York on a type of chemo, and you don't know it. So like, I'm grateful for not losing my hair. I smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm nauseous, I smoke a little bit more weed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been able to maintain a pretty decent lifestyle. Like you would never know. It's like the invisible disease.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because it can go one way or the other.
Exactly. But I mean, my medicine is like, I want to say in the 90% of probably about 95% for maintaining the spread. So I'm in my stage, and I'll be in my stage. There's no shrinking or removing it, but there's no growing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Good. I'm young, so it's good. I still get to live my life. You know, people on my Instagram, you know, a lot of people don't know I'm sick, but.
Yeah. Since getting your diagnosis, how has it changed the way you look at life?
It was pretty tough.
Yeah.
You know, you lose some people in your family, and at first you're like, shit, why do I have this?
Yeah.
But it's made me be a little bit more grateful for life. And I think it's also, I kind of live like every day like, wow, if I can see this, I'm going to see it. Right? Yeah. So like if someone calls me and invites me somewhere, like I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hard transition, but I am grateful for like, you know, working with a company that allows you to sort of just do your thing. And like, you know, I'm in contact with so many people, and like, you know, I'm able to go all around the world, and like, it's really the meds.
Yeah.
The meds are what is like allowing me to do that stuff, which isn't, you know, some people are like, oh, they don't believe in pharmaceutical America, but it's like, you know, they're kind of creating thousands and types of medicines that, yeah, maybe they're not curing it. You know, the big thing with big pharma is Pfizer's been around for this many years and they haven't cured anything. But it's like, maybe they haven't cured what I have, but look at me, you would never know, you know?
Totally.
So it's like, yeah, it's kind of new still. So I tear up a little bit, but I think people should see that emotion. Like,
yeah,
I maintain a regular life. I get on a plane, I go to work, and you know, you have your side effects, but
well, and this industry pushes cannabis as the cure-all, and it's something, you know, and there's nothing wrong with people that push it as a cure-all, but I think there's nothing wrong with, you know, modern day medicine. I think that it's amazing. We wouldn't be alive. The average life of somebody, you know, a few hundred years ago was like 35 or 37 years old.
Yeah. So my doctor is like, Amanda, I don't take medicine. So like this was a big life adjustment for me to be told like I have to take chemo every day. Yeah. Right. And then the main thing with these hospitals is they want you to be comfortable. Right. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if they can sign off on something in a medical state to get you an increase in cannabis, like I have the highest prescription you can in Florida. Yeah. Because my doctor wrote me a note, and I can get as many ounces or whatever. I think it's like 5 ounces and then concentrate. So I'm maxed out entirely. So they just want you to be comfortable. And that is where the other prescriptions for drugs come in. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm like, I can't sleep like going through this whole transition on this meds. And they're like, here's a gabapentin. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And I'm not taking that. Yeah. Like I never even took I don't even take Tylenol. Like maybe around your, you know, your time of the month as a woman, but like anything other than that, no, I've just always like smoked weed. And I didn't really smoke weed for like medicinal purposes, just like smoking. But there's some people that are like, you got to take the methylene blue and you got to get that horse medicine for COVID. What's it called that everybody was taking for a long time during COVID? Ivermectin. And like so many people that come from like my health and wellness when I was in the fitness industry, like blasting me with all these like anti-doctor stuff.
Right.
And then there's like, you know, my weed friends that are like, try the RSO, but then you really got to get good RSO and you got to know where it's really coming from, right?
Oh, we got the best here.
I'll try it. All right, I'll try it.
I absolutely have the best RSO for you.
I'll try it.
And I will give you, as much RSO as you need. Yeah.
Because it's in my stomach. So like, maybe I could see, like, I'll probably do something to where I can track it like before a scan, because I do like scans every 3 months to like stay on top of everything. But what they've been able to do with cancer research is honestly crazy. There's a lot of people that have cancer, and a lot of them have recovered, like let's say breast cancer survivors.
Right.
And then they take this chemo pill after to make sure that like nothing can come up. Because a lot of the problem was, you know, oh, you're in remission and then it comes up somewhere else.
Well, that's the problem with breast cancer, is because it can't, they might not get it all right. And then it goes to some other, it metastasizes, you know, I'm not an expert either, but I understand a lot. You know, it's like I've had a few friends with cancer and I do a lot of research, right? So my life has always been about research and trying to understand stuff that I don't understand. And that's one of those ones. And breast cancer is one of those ones that when they remove it, it's not as easy as people think. It's not like it's just there and you just pull it out and it's gone. It can escape and it can go somewhere else. And 5 years later, you can get it in your liver. You can get it in an organ. You can get it in your lungs. And it's really, you know, and so a lot of times they do chemo to try to get every last little trace of it, you know, and, you know, it's a scary thing.
Ideally, you want to remove it. Ideally, right? But then there's that risk, you know, some people, once you cut them open or whatever, like, you know, there's all these like different things that go into it.
And certain people you can't remove. There's certain types of brain cancer that you can't remove.
Exactly.
There's certain where it's taken up too much of an organ that you cannot remove it, or you cannot remove all of it. And so, you know, I think in those situations, 100% people should be trying RSO. It's not a guaranteed thing, but I think the potential for it's great. You know, and then we're getting better at medicine every day. And now with AI, it's going to be even better. I mean, they're going to be able to cure a lot of this stuff by being able to process data and understand what works and what doesn't work at a faster scale.
Yeah, I'm totally for it. And, you know, we know like, obviously the CBD and whatever is an anti-inflammatory, and that's why they would use it, you know, to try seizure approaches and whatnot, you know?
Of course.
But, if someone could figure out how to make the skinny weed, I think they would solve half of people's problems.
Get rid of Ozempic. Get rid of Ozempic, and we're just going to have...
I have been asking for the longest time, like, can somebody get the weed that doesn't give munchies?
So I was in Seattle. So THCV, actually, they had like a vape cart, and I believe there was caffeine and THCV together. And the thing is like, my buddy had given me this, my friend Jason Hutto, and his buddy up there that basically formulated, he compounded this pen, and it had caffeine and THCV in it. Oh my God. And so the funny thing is like I hit this pen, and I smoke pens. So someone gave me a pen, I would hit it, and then we were going to dinner, I hit it, and I was sitting in this bar. All of a sudden I felt sick, like I had to go throw up. And I went and kind of dry heaved in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, that was weird, man. I must have eaten something earlier that was bad. Well, the funny thing is like around the same time the next day, I hit the pen again, and then I started feeling sick. I'm like, son of a bitch, it's caffeine? The pen. It could be what's the combination of the THCV, and I can handle cannabinoids because I smoke, right? But the combination of those cannabinoids with the caffeine made me feel super nauseous. And so I'm like, keep me away from those pens. I could see how that could be good for like losing weight and basically, you know, cutting out sugar and stuff like that. Because I think part of the biggest problem is in the US, and part of my biggest problem with weight gain over the years has been sugar, because I like sugar. I love sugar, especially I'm smoking weed. I want to eat something. I'm going to go for sugar. Some people like salty and you know, they like salty and carbs. I'm like, I like sugar. I mean, I think I try to
sour candy.
Yeah. Sour candy rots my teeth. High. I don't want, sour candy. I'm so scared of like, I don't eat sour candy. Really. I like it too. But I know that sour, like the acidity on your teeth is so bad. I'm like, keep that away from me. I grew up on licorice. I like licorice. Too.
Black or red?
I like both, but black
I like
licorice.
Black licorice.
I like so in Europe you get the black candy when you're high. they have this, it's almost like menthol. It's like so strong. It burns your nose. It's so strong. Swedish licorice that's like black. You can get it in lots of European countries, but definitely Northern Europe, Finland, Sweden. If you're in Copenhagen, they have it. When I was in Copenhagen, they definitely had it. And in Amsterdam, you can find it in some of the candy shops.
The Swedish candy's taken over right now.
Yeah.
If you follow any of these trends, like, the Swedish candy's in like the hottest places. But back to like, the cannabis with cancer and just like, I guess, diseases and things in general. I think it helps aid with the discomfort. Like when you get put on meds and everything like that, your body's going through like, working through the symptoms. So it's a good ad.
Nice. Yeah. And so have you found one type of cannabis or one specific strain that works better than others? Or are you pretty open to a lot of them?
I'm not open to a lot of different strains. I know what I like.
Yeah.
And like, I'm really a taste smoker.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really go for the effect. I don't really think I feel different effects, to be quite honest, when it comes to, other than that L'Orange. Like, that's been the one thing that's like, you smoke it and you're stuck.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't taste good, I'm not into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even care. I won't smoke it.
Yeah. Well, I think taste and effect can go hand in hand, but for me, like we can go down the rabbit hole and we can literally sit and try, and then I can give you different flour that's going to give you different effects because I'm really into that. If you want to do that one day, I'm down. I'm like literally so into like trying to find the different effects, and maybe it doesn't work. Maybe certain people don't, but I get different effects from different flour. Whitethorn Rose is very different from, and then same thing with like sativas, right? Like you can take some of these, sativa hybrids, circling back to that, but like literally, it's funny because I like effect and I like looking at the effect and I'm really consciously thinking about it all the time. So when I'm smoking something new and I'm getting really high from it, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this effect. Yeah. That's usually what I think. I mean, I obviously flavor, I'm a chef. I've literally worked in the culinary world as a chef and I think of flavor first. But when I'm smoking and that high is kicking in, I'm like, what kind of high is this? Oh, I like this onset, or I like this about it, or man, it's making me real tight behind the eyes. Like
tight behind the eyes. So I was gonna say that's the only effect that I think I could pinpoint is I call it a rubber band high. Like it's like, I don't know what it is.
So for me, it's like, do I get the smile? Do I get I don't want to be around anybody? Because sometimes the effect is like, I just want to be by myself. I don't want to talk to this person. There's some flower makes me annoyed with people. Like literally I'll smoke. Give me a strain. So I would say the GMO is one of those ones. For some reason, we got a batch of GMO recently that I smoked it and I was like annoyed by everybody around me. And most of the weed, usually I'm like chill around everybody. But this stuff was making me annoyed with people like, man, I wish they would quit talking. Like, I wish that person would, I'm having like a chill moment and that person just won't shut the fuck up. And I'm not even going to say who they are. Yeah. But it's somebody that's one of my good friends. But yeah, he was talking and I'm just like, oh dude, this guy just needs to shut the fuck up.
I got to try that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Say you go through like a test, right? Or like, let's just say we're going to conduct this, maybe a little study on effects, right? We line out all these strains. I smoke one strain, like, how do I get fast? Like, how do I clear that effect fast enough to where I can try something
same time next day, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. I think the first time in the morning, sometimes with coffee, sometimes however you want to do it. Yeah. But you should time it and then have enough of a time apart from trying something else, right? Like we can sit here and smoke and talk about effects, but you're not really you're going to cancel out a lot of stuff, right? And so for me, when I'm pheno hunting, a lot of times I'll go smoke first thing in the morning. I'll go take a couple puffs. Yeah. See how it tastes, see what kind of effect I'm getting, smoke through it. And if I really like it, I'll smoke the whole joint. But I roll bigger joints anyway. And so I have to get through a lot of stuff and I'll smoke more throughout the day. But a lot of times that first joint in the morning, it'll really tell a lot about how I'm feeling. Some of the stuff makes me feel like really excited to go to work, really excited about life, really excited about just being alive, right? And other stuff, it can make me introspective. It can put me deep into thought. Some of it's super meditative. Some of it makes, like Whitethorn Rose is a great example. And Dave
keep saying this. I got to try it.
Oh yeah, it's really good. It's one of those feel good weeds. Dave from Dave from Budgelero is another one that has some really good stuff. But if we're talking about Dave Mesford, my good friend, he passed away from cancer, bladder cancer, 420 a year and a half ago. It'll be 2 years this year. He bred and gave me a bunch of his seeds, and his family gave me a bunch of his seeds, and they're available on our website. But like, he has his Blue 13, and if you want feel good weed, that is the feel good strain of the year. Same thing with White Thorn Rose. It has the same effect. That it doesn't matter, and I feel like across the board everybody gets the same effect from it, and that's very rare because its effects can be subjective to the individual. This, if you smoke it, you don't have anxiety, you don't get introspective, you just feel good. And I think sometimes I need that, like in my life, I need that feel good feeling to where I smoke it and I'm like, man, I just love life. I feel really good. It's like you want to hug yourself and you want to hug other people.
You're just like psyched on life right now. You're like, yeah.
Well, and some weed makes me real productive at work where I can smoke and I just want to go handle shit. Right. And then, it's funny because like there's so many different effects if we really start diving into like, how does this make you feel? But also depending on like the combination with coffee, because I drink a lot of coffee because I smoke a lot of weed. So those go hand in hand too. So like, how does it, and also what kind of food have I been eating? Have I been eating a lot of carbs? Have I been eating protein? Yeah, and it's a science, and really, like, there's so many factors that can affect the effect.
It's a pairing.
It's a pairing.
Yeah.
We do the food pairings too. Yeah. Like, I love those.
The food pairings are great.
But yeah, and it's a science, you know what I mean? Like, it's a science, and you can take it real seriously or not. And either way, if you start thinking about it consciously, it'll change the way you look at the flower and the effect. And then you start, like, really not liking mediocre stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. Once you start getting into the data points, you've collected a whole bunch of data points by smoking lots of weed, and you can start really identifying what you like. Then you start really not liking like the middle, the stuff in the middle or the stuff at the bottom. That stuff is just it's disappointing, and I don't need it in my life. There's plenty of good stuff.
So something that I see is because, when you're in rec, you can get like the demographics of like age and whatnot, right? From your buyers. Something that I see a lot is older buyers, like let's say 60s, right? Maybe even like in the 50s. And the weed isn't the same as it was.
Right.
But what's crazy is that they think the weed is stronger now when they come into the store.
Right.
And for us, we think the weed is like bland almost. Like the effect almost isn't there. Almost everything is hybridized and the same. But it's funny because when I see a lot of buyers come into the store, they're like, that's too strong for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because they read a percentage first, like when they buy something, and that automatically like tricks them to think like this is a more stronger weed. But it's like, we know that weed mostly is hybridized because of crossing everything. So we know you're not getting a sole effect of something. And it's just interesting to see like how people say it's so strong.
Well, and I think maybe it is strong. And I think certain cannabinoids, if we go back into the effect and dial it in, certain cannabinoids can have a specific effect that maybe is undesirable for a lot of people. It gives them anxiety. So I think the balance for that is like, okay, so like if we're talking about joints, either rolling in some CBD in with it or having a specific genetic that's a type 2 cultivar, chemovar, that is basically CBD and THC, and it's more of a mellow experience. And I think a lot of people don't even know about this. They don't know about type 2 cultivars, and they exist, and I think they're really great, especially for older people that want more of a mellow high. But I think there are a lot of people that just want to chill. They don't want to be like high off their ass to where they can't like answer the phone and talk to their grandkids. Right? Like you want to be able to
like in their head, like.
Yeah, you want to be able to talk to your grandkids or your kids or your parents or your grandparents. Like when you're high, I mean, not everybody, but like, I think some people can do it no matter what. But like, I think that, there's something to be said for being able to like that functional weed where you feel just good from it, whether it's smoking it, edibles, drink your beverage.
What's crazy is I don't eat weed.
Yeah. Gummies, what does it do to you? Just makes you super high.
Gives me the spins. Like I can't process weed that way.
Yeah, so I'm not much of an edible eater either, but I think the benefits of RSO outweigh the fact that, like, if I had cancer right now, that would be the first thing I would go to would be some RSO. And I just, we had Emerald Bay on our podcast and they gave me some RSO and I still have some and I'm going to give it to you.
I'm going to try it.
But the first thing I would do is I would ask my doctor if I can use cannabis. And the first thing I would do is go to the RSO before they were, because a lot of it's, as you know, it takes time. All this stuff is a process. You can't get your surgery right away. It's a month out or 2 months out, depending on your cancer. Typically it's not right away. And the process, it all happens slowly. And the thing with RSO, it also happens slowly. So it starts with just a drop, like a grain of rice and builds up from there. And so you build a tolerance to it. Cannabis, you build a tolerance relatively quickly, but like I can't do edibles either.
I can't.
I cannot. But I would start small with that and I would start with just a drop and maybe it'd be a week of just drops, right? Before you increase it and then slowly increase it because you eventually get used to it. I also don't like being blown out of my mind most of the time. And I like dabs. I love dabs, but I don't like being completely dabbed out.
I don't like dabs.
Yeah. Dabs. I like so you can micro dab too now though. Like I do the micros, like I can do 20 or 30 micro dabs in the evening, maybe even more than that. But I'll sit and I'll just do the smallest little dab, and I think it doesn't burn my throat at all, especially you're doing cold dabs and you're doing these small dabs. It doesn't burn my throat. It doesn't get me too high, but over a period of a few hours, you're pretty lit up and you feel really good.
Dabs the first time I ever dabbed was in Colorado, right? Bangers, there was no
hot nail.
Electronic. Yeah, like kids were turning
titanium
cords, all of this, right?
Yeah.
I go to Colorado. First of all, I have no idea about altitude sickness. No one ever clued me in, right? So I go there. My friend from college is like, I go with all the guys. We're going to Vail to snowboard, all this. And we rip this dab.
Yeah.
I like almost passed out from coughing. I never coughed like this in my life, like as if water vapor was in my lungs and trying to get away, right? Yeah. Dabs, I just can't do it. Out of the Carta, out of the Puffco, out of the nectar collector, I just can't do a dab. It's like something happens in my chest with that water vapor and then I just feel it in my ears the entire time. And it's like, probably don't do a lot of brand work when it comes to hash and concentrates like that in that SKU because I don't ingest it to understand it.
Yeah.
And like the same with gummies. I've been building brands for about 8 years in the space.
Yeah.
And gummy companies come to me and I'm like, I can't brand your project. Like the average person will take the project and be like, oh yeah, whatever. This is how much it will cost for me to come. But I don't resonate with it. I don't know how to sell that for you. Like, I know the CBNs are the 1-to-1s and, the pectin and the this and the that, but I don't feel it because I don't ingest it.
I love the taste of good gummies. So Whitethorn Rose, going back to
Here
that.
we go. Who is
best
this guy?
Gummies. Well, yeah, Huckleberry Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Johnny's flagship strain that will be around forever. And Whitethorn Rose gummies are the best gummies because they don't have to add flavoring. The rosin gummies just taste like the rosin, which is absolutely amazing. But I love a good gummy. I just love a good soft gummy. Like there's such an art to making the perfect gummy.
Yeah.
Just like everything else. I mean, just like your rolls with the perfection and the time it took to get the perfect roll, right, for your blunt wraps. And I mean, I think that the effort that goes into making the perfect gummy is there's as much precision that goes into it. And it's just as hard and it's so inconsistent across the board. And
so inconsistent.
Yeah, in adult use cannabis across the US, it's just so inconsistent. There's so much shit out there.
Yeah.
I can really appreciate the best ones. And I don't eat gummies all the time. I don't ingest cannabis orally all the time. But when I do, I love those gummies. I love the flavor of a good rosin gummy.
I'll never do it.
Yeah.
I will never eat it. Like, I swear, like, you could put anything in front of me. It's just like something like my body rejects it.
Yeah.
But I also don't like the taste of weed like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you like a rosin gummy. I know like Jelly Wizard used to have cool rosin gummies. I don't know if they still do that, but like it's just something about that taste that I can't do. But like put a pound of weed in front of me, I'll smoke it all day.
I think if I gave you a Whitethorn Rose gummy, and I don't have any here, otherwise I'd give you one right now, just to eat the corner off a gummy. But I think that it's like, how Skittles taste like candy? Yeah. It's like that. It tastes like candy. It doesn't taste like weed.
Okay.
And so it's so far away from like what I would consider weed flavor. And I love weed flavor too. Don't get me wrong. I love I like cat piss weed too.
Yeah.
The ammonia. I love ammonia and skunk stuff that like burns your nostrils. I love the nostril burning weed, but there's something to be said for that stuff that's like on the sweet or very much, it's like some of these are so like much like food now, and they have this relationship to like literally they smell like Skittles, like smells like candy. Although Skittles, Zittles, Z, we got to call it the original Z. We can't even call it Skittles anymore, guys.
Really?
No, because of Wrigley.
Well, that's kind of like us.
Yeah.
So I don't like to give credit to who,
Yeah.
got us into this situation of renaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, similar situation.
Yeah. So shout out to Tony Mendo and the original Z and all the original Z guys, Fields and Tony. I feel like those guys, they've had uphill battle because of calling it what they used to call it. And the original Z is amazing. And batches vary from terp to terp, but it smells like weed, but it smells like cantaloupe and it smells like, fruit, and it's there's a little lemon in there, but it's really complex, but it is fruity candy. It is the pinnacle of candy.
Tasting the rainbow, huh?
Literally, you're tasting a rainbow. And that's why we called ours was Feel the Rainbow instead of Taste the Rainbow. We can't get sued for Feel the Rainbow, but it's like a rainbow of fruit flavors, right? And that's why we called it Feel the Rainbow. And I feel like it's just one of those special ones, and it sets the bar for candy. And so when we talk about all these different kinds of candy, Preferred, they just won Proper Doinks for the mythical the mythical Z.
Really?
Like literally their Z is the best mixed light Z.
When I first met him years ago, he was the first mixed light facility I ever went into. And I came all the way up to SAC. We have a great relationship with him in multiple states and whatnot, where he's in Florida with us. We're also in Pennsylvania with him.
Nice.
But his first thing that I ever smoked was a Sunset Sherb.
Nice.
That he grew. And I've never smoked mixed light flower like that.
Yeah.
And I smoked Connected Sun Grown, which is amazing.
Sure.
Right. And when you go into the store, like to have a cheaper SKU with the same great quality, like it was really Connected that like kind of owned that market of like, but when he came out with that mixed light into this market, it was like, what a game changer.
Yeah. I love Sunset Sherbet. I love the real Sherb like that. I mean, I'm friends with Mario. We have a long history. I used to get real packs from Mario that was just next level. And Sherb never got its day because gelato came so quickly, right? And if gelato didn't come, I feel like Sunset Sherbet, the real Sunset Sherbet, the one that the Cookie Fam used to grow, the one that Mario used to have packs of, that was just next level. And this is pre-rec in California. This is 2013.
Yeah.
And it was just 2012, 2013, that Sunset Sherbet was so delicious.
Was it?
All the way down to the roach, it would taste amazing. That was the first exotic over in Europe too. By the way. Yeah, literally that was the first exotic. Go ask guys from Tenco. But literally that was the first exotic over there. And bag seeds started seed companies, literally made millions of dollars off of bag seed from Sunset Sherbet. There's a whole story behind all that, but it's wild because Sunset Sherbet's so special. It
is. It was a great strain. You know who else got a good strain? I like the 24K. I know this is going to sound crazy from DNA.
Yeah, I do too. I'm actually making some crosses with it right now.
Yeah.
We're doing some washers, and I feel like 24K it washes really well. It's not just Tangy, because Tangy gets old for a lot of people. And then you got that complexity from the OG in there, so it adds gassiness.
That was a wonderful strain. I worked with a grower manufacturer, micro license that they were working with like probably 6 years back. And that was kind of the first time I seen DNA genetics weed as opposed to seeds.
Yeah.
And they were launching it in California. And
all their stuff is so good.
And I was like,
so I'm a big fan of DNA. We're friends. I'm good. Both Don and Aaron are good friends of mine, and their flower is amazing. Those guys smoke the real deal.
Yeah.
They're the real deal. It's like their Tangy is good. The 24K is good. Kosher is good.
Their LA Confidential.
Strawberry Bananas. That's a classic. With Crockett and that strawberry banana and winning all those cups with that as well. Chocolope is like one of my the D-line guys. That's the one. That chocolate is special. My chocolate runts is made with their chocolate.
Okay. I want to try that.
Yeah, we have some here. We can totally smoke it. It's a chocolate on the nose. It's a little bit of bitter chocolate on the inhale, but like with gas and like perfume a little bit, but then on the exhale is peaches.
Ooh.
So yeah, the pheno we selected out of a lot of seeds. We've gone through it a bunch of times. The best one we're going to start selling clones of in February for Valentine's Day for a lot of money. They're $1,000 a clone. But
guys, get that clone.
But yeah, we have a 3-pack of the 3 breeders cuts, and that is my selection. And I went through it with a bunch of people, and we've had it in production for about a year now, and we're releasing the clone. But it's special for Valentine's Day.
Way to bring the Crockett name back up. I got a few friends right now in New York that have a license, and they drop some Crockett seeds, and stuff's coming to light there. Yeah. I was like, what a comeback.
Well, so we've had Crockett and Crockito, Brian on the podcast. I was at Brian's wedding last year. They're good friends. I love those guys. They do really good work with genetics as far as breeding. Mm-hmm. They're the real deal too. Yep. It's like, and these are the people that, I think my time in the industry from 2012 to now, there was a little 4-year hiatus, but other than that, it's like, those are the people that I used to go see at Cups. We would travel around all the High Times Cannabis Cups. Starting in 2010, really, in the US, was the first San Francisco Cup, but then expanding on, we won our first Cup in 2012 in Amsterdam, and I love those guys, right? And so
I want to talk about this Cup, and I want to talk about this High Times comeback, right? So I'm in New York, and we know High Times, the Cups are amazing, right? Like the Cups are, when you're a grower,
the Cups were amazing.
They were amazing.
Yes.
Okay, you're right. And when I first started cannabis, it was still like the Cups and, all the big events. And now it's coming back, right? And it just did a comeback in New York where basically everyone submitted their products through it. And then you had to buy the box through the store.
Yeah.
And submit your vote or whatever the case may be. So basically the people kind of submitted that, but it was the people's choice, right? Sure. And now they're going into New Jersey and they're doing the same thing. Do you like that approach? Because usually it's the judges that know weed, know things like that,
well,
right?
I think in my opinion, you should do both. You should have judges, and then you should have the judges. It should be the People's Choice Awards, right?
Yeah.
Like there should be People's Choice Awards, then there should be judges. There should be a judge's house, and judges should vote on it. I mean, I have some stuff I can't talk about right now because I'm working with High Times, and because I've been writing for High Times. I work with High Times. We're doing some podcast stuff with High Times. I know some stuff that I'm not allowed to share right now that I would love to tell
NDA.
you. Yeah, I mean, we got a friend DA, so but literally, I can't talk about it. But there's some big things going on with High Times and their cups. I'm so excited for the future of the magazine and for the stuff that they're doing. Josh, big shout out to Josh. Literally, Josh bringing High Times and bringing the life back into High Times, and his energy is just so good, and it's so perfect for High Times. And Josh and Matt Stang together are going to bring this back. I feel very confident that they're going in the right direction with this. And I'm excited because High Times means so much to me, right? Like, it means so much to me and so many of my friends. And it was part of me growing up as a kid. Like literally, that was my magazine. There's other guys, they had Playboy magazines, whatever. My magazine was High Times magazine. I hid High Times magazines under my bed. I got in trouble with High Times magazines. I still have my collection of High Times magazines from the 90s, from as early as 91. And High Times means, it's more than just a magazine. It's more than just a cup. It's like my legacy. I remember being in High Times. My first and favorite article in High Times, not my first magazine that I owned, but like the $1 Million Grow Room was my favorite article growing up. And then I was featured in the $1 Million article in 2013. And now we're going to do the $1 Billion Grow Room. So,
wow.
From $1 Million Grow Room to $1 Billion Grow Room. We're going to release that article sometime this year.
Oh, the $1 Billion Grow Room's got to be crazy.
Yeah. Well, you can only do that with seeds and genetics, right? So genetic licensing, all that stuff. But that's going to build the $1 Billion Grow Room. So
now, when it comes to genetics for you, how's the trade marketing game for you?
Trademark is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's about to open up and change completely because, it's like what are you going to get it for agriculture
Yeah.
before? You know what I mean? In California, you could trademark names
Yes.
for cannabis because it was legal on a state level. Right now with Schedule 3, that's all going to change. But also patenting genetics, trademarking names is one thing, but patenting proprietary genetics where you put in the work.
Yes.
Right. And I think that is so necessary, and it's not cheap, right?
It's not cheap.
But moving into the future, that's what
you have to do if you want to be
if we model our industry after agriculture, which is what we need to do, that's necessary, right? So
thank you for saying that. I try to say this every day. This is
if you put the money and the work in, right? And not everybody wants to put the money and the work into stabilizing lines. But if you're going to stabilize a line and you're going to go through multiple generations, you might as well patent and protect your genetics, and not, you're not trying to own all the genetics. You're not going in and trying to patent Blue Dream or, protect Blue Dream. That's in the, that's out there to the general population. People have access to Blue Dream. And literally the people that are trying to do that are bad people. Someone tried to get sage and they wanted to protect and patent sage, and sage is Mojave's Richmond's. And so he found out about it and got in litigation with these people and over something that was his. So people that go to try to own the market and own stuff that basically should be available to everybody, that's basically out there already. That's really sad that people are trying to do that. And I mean, I think that if you're putting money and effort into work and you're trying to do something the right way, there's a reason to patent and protect it, because you've invested time and energy. And people shouldn't be able to just go out and sell that if it's not theirs, if you put the money and time and energy into it.
Yeah.
So, but it's also a tricky one, because people are bad. There's bad people, bad actors.
It's like the .com, when everybody was buying up the domains and then like trying to hit you with something if you like, or you couldn't get that domain. And I mean, I go through it sometimes when I'm building some brands and like they want to trademark something, and I'm like, you can only trademark in these classifications, and
But once it's in the public domain, once it's out there, once you've released that genetic or it's out in the public domain, you no longer own the rights to it in that sense.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is like, your toad venom, people are selling and sharing toad venom. Now you can no longer patent and protect your genetics.
What do you think about this toad venom?
I think it's the hotness that's coming back. And gas. I think gas is good. I think we need more gas. I think the world needs diversity. Yeah. We need diversity. We can't have all just purple candy gas.
Yeah. What about, all right, so I watched a mini clip the other day because, High Design, LMC. I love Luke. He's great. He's been, doing his little podcast for whatever. But he had, I believe, Callie on there, Callie Plug, talking about like toad venom's going to take over everything.
It's not going to take over everything. It's a niche thing. And it's like, there is a small amount of people that are absolutely going to love it.
Yeah.
But the orange squeeze is another one. I think that's another amazing new cross. Whoever made that, I don't know. I just got to try some of that the other day. There's some really amazing stuff out there. A lot of it's niche. Is it going to be the next gelato? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt any of these things. Like there's too much variety now for anything to dominate like gelato dominated.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's potential for toad venom to be really big and really successful, and a lot of other things. I mean, the thing is does it taste good down to the roach? Does it give you a really good effect? Toad venom's really strong. So people like strong stuff. A certain demographic does. So what's your favorite strain from the past?
I like a pink panties. I know that's crazy to say.
You like the pink panties?
Yeah. But when Sherbinski had his store on
you like smoking pink panties?
Yeah.
Yeah. The real I mean, so I have that cut. I don't know if I still have it, but I had it for a long time.
Pink panties was a great cut.
Yeah, it was the purple step. No, I don't. Honestly,
really?
I think it was a great breeder. I
thought it smoked.
I think as far as for smoke, it was a little bit on the muted side.
Okay.
For me personally, right? And maybe I just didn't grow it right? It's possible.
I only ever had it in two places, in Colorado.
Yep.
And I don't remember where I got it. But then I got it and I only bought it from Sherbinski's on Fairfax when he had that store, because he had those 4 regular strains that were in there, the Bacho and everything like that. And Pink Panties was one of them. And I would get it there. Nowhere else.
Yeah. And I never liked it. I thought I think it's a great breeder. I think it had great potential. But as far as like me personally, it wasn't, I like Sunset Sherbet. I absolutely love
a Sunset Sherb.
Yeah. I like key lime pie. I like cookies. I like every kind of cookies. Everybody knows that. But yeah, that just it just never did it for me.
I liked a bunch of, Seed Junkie stuff when he first came out.
Wedding cake?
No, I liked his his mint line that he dropped, like that jealousy and that soap line. I really liked like
soap is really good. It's another one that's a great breeder too, but soap is really special.
I wouldn't know because I don't do that, but like that was a great strain. I love that.
It's just super. Yeah, as far as from a cultivation perspective, like if you're a cultivator, no, it's amazing.
Oh, really?
It checks all the boxes. Like, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of Seed Junkie stuff is really, really good. I think he's put a lot of time and energy and effort into pheno hunting properly.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, they like make seeds and then that's the end of it. Or they do like this little five seed or 10 seed pheno hunt. And it's like, dude, that's not it.
Can I renege that Pink Panties?
Yeah.
Biscotti from Connected.
Oh, yeah.
Is probably, I could smoke that all the time.
Yeah, we got that cut. That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Biscotti. Gelinade. Melonade.
Fire.
There's another one. Gelinade, Melonade, Biscotti, Gushers. Those were all classics. I love all those.
Connected was great.
Yeah.
I really like them. And then, Terraform Genetics?
I absolutely know Brett from Terraform Genetics.
Okay.
He's such a good grower.
So wait, a lot of people don't know Terraform Genetics unless they went into that store.
Yeah.
Because towards the end of their like spree or whatever, that's when they started selling to other stores. But before it was really just in there. They had a cake batter OG.
Yeah.
That I have never smoked anywhere else. That anytime I would fly to California, that was the first place I would go. And I would have my friends in California when I left ship it to me.
Such a good grower.
Such a great strain. I've never seen that anywhere else.
Yeah. And so out of all the Jacks I've seen in the last 10 years, his Jack is the best Jack. His Jack is the only Jack that reminds me of the Jack that we had as Jack floating around 20 years ago, or even in the late 90s.
I don't like a Jack.
Well, so I don't, but the thing is you might like this Jack.
Maybe.
Because this is his Jack it's funny because like, I'm not a big fan of the Jack that's going around that everyone's calling Jack now, but the Jack back in the day was really complex and like really nose burning and really like very like complex. And so a lot of the Jack now I feel like is this basic Jack that probably isn't the selection that I would have made if I was going through the seeds because I saw this other Jack back in the day. And then I went to Brent's and he let me walk through his room and he's like, oh yeah, just whatever, you can ask me questions about it. I was going through his room and I'm like, dude, this Jack reminds me of the Jack. And he's like, yeah, that's my Jack Herrera. I'm like, it's not like Jack Frost, Jack Flash, Jack. Well, Jack Frost and Jack Flash are both amazing too, right? And they're very similar. They're different phenos. Really, really good. But his is just Jack and it reminds me of the classic.
He's just a great, like if he's a head grower, like that was just great flower.
Yeah, he is. He's
Where are they now? Are they doing anything?
I have no idea. I mean, he's doing something. There's no way. That dude's a grower for life. I can't imagine him doing anything other than growing because he's so good. I
got to see if it's in, what was their store? WHTC or something in Hollywood. Yeah. That was a local store for sure.
Totally.
Yeah, good strain. I mean, I've never seen it again and I don't really see the brand anywhere. And that's probably, for me, I think a nostalgic smoke. Like I can still taste it.
Yeah. He had so many good ones though. All his stuff was really top notch.
He had a Bruce Banner that they dropped through that line one time. That was good. Oh no, Blucifer.
Oh, his Blucifer was hella good.
Blucifer was good.
So Blucifer, I still have the jar at my house. That's how good it was. It was literally, that's one of my favorite things that came out of his library. Yeah. But yeah, that and the Jack, but his Blucifer was definitely top shelf.
Blucifer was great.
Yep.
I did a little other few cross, like he had a root beer one that was in there and whatever, but those were the two that I mainly stuck with.
Nice. If you had one piece of advice for your younger self.
Yeah.
What would that one piece of advice be?
I think it would be learn patience. Patience, for sure. Maybe we could bring that in for the year of the horse, some Chinese New Year type of virtue. But yeah, patience. This industry is 10, maybe 11 years recreationally.
12.
13,
14, yeah, 12. Yeah. We're going on 13.
On Colorado, right?
Yeah, Colorado and Washington, both same year.
Yep. So I think a lot of people entered thinking it was going to be the gold rush, right? The new gold rush. And people changed so many of their plans for success in so many ways and hurt themselves because there's not really data here. You know, we're still making the data. Like when you go to regular companies and you invest in stocks, you know, you could see their 5-year trends. You could see their this and like make better decisions. Here, I think it's really slowing down. Everyone is making these fast day-to-day, like I'll give my brand for instance, like people reach out to us like, why don't you make this hash skew? The average person will just make the hash skew because people are pinging the Instagram with DMs of like, we want a hash skew, and then that will crumble them, you know, or like be a lot of wasted money. And everything is so instantaneous here. Like get this done, get this done. I like to say that, so I have Fortune 500 background where it is very regimented, a lot of systems in play. You know, a lot of money to enter into that consulting game to get that level of consulting, but they understand the money that they're paying and they understand it's going to be long term. Here, it's like everyone wants everything to happen immediately and see results immediately, down to investors, right? I give you this much money. Oh, I heard New York sold $1 billion. I want that money back, you know? Yeah. And I think patience is the key to, if not almost everything in life. Right. I'm a very fast paced person. I think that, you know, other drugs that people have played with in life didn't work for me because I'm fast paced. And then can you imagine like something else? I'd be like skyrocketing everywhere. But weed allowed me to be in the room with people a little bit longer. Yeah. Like if I smoked before, it like gave me the patience I needed to pay attention.
Well, that fast pace is associated with New York because I would say most of my friends from New York have that fast-paced mentality. I feel like life, that's the one thing why I don't think I could live in New York necessarily, is because that fast pace where it's just like, it's got to, you know, it's like everybody moves so fast. And there's fast money, there's fast movers, and there's sharp people. Like you got to be sharp. Yeah, I would say the people from New York are sharp. They're grumpy too. So a lot of grumpy people from New York.
So, you know, some people are going to say we're grumpy or we just don't have the time. We're always in motion.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it could be both. You know, Ed Rosenthal, love Ed. He's a good friend of mine. He's from New York. I feel like, and we call him Grumpy Ed sometimes, but I love Ed. But yeah, in New York, I mean, they're very short. You know, I feel like they're very honest and blunt.
Oh, that's me. I mean, you know, I'm 35 now. I mean, when I was younger, I was like a bull in a china shop, right? Because I was just like really fast paced. My head worked fast. I was blunt. I was direct. I was all these things that, you know, people say they want, right? They want someone to be blunt. They want someone to be honest, loyal, direct. Yeah. But most people don't want that. And I was like true to the core of that. Yeah. And like, I had to learn be a little bit more PC. Or slow it down, or like think maybe before, you know, you give the advice they're asking for. Cause especially in the consulting world, like, you know, they hire you for your expertise, but do you really want my expertise? Or do you just want to hire someone to say that you hired someone and not do anything that they tell you? Yeah. You know, and patience is definitely, especially like, you know, I come from another industry and I've learned that like, this is an industry, it's so new. A lot of system and processes aren't there. Yeah. You know, people are still figuring out softwares. People have been through 5 different softwares on a POS. You know what I'm saying? Like they got to relearn that every time data's lost, whatever the case may be. Our SOPs are great. Yeah. It's something that you could follow and stay in line with. But, you know, I don't know. It's a lot of patience, a lot of patience in this industry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think life is about patience. I think as we get older, we like learn patience. I don't think it's something that comes along with youth. I think it's something that comes out of experience, right? The more experience you have, patience is necessary to be successful, I think. And also, you know, if you fail, it's okay. Failing's okay. That comes along with patience and like getting back up. And, you know, it's like we go through so much every day where it's like you have to be patient to a degree, and success just doesn't happen over time with anything, especially building a business like you guys are doing.
I'm doing like even what you're doing, you know, like.
Well, I've learned it through. I've learned it from everything, but yeah, it's not easy.
And you've had to pivot, right, from your areas of focus to make the money come in, and like it's the same thing with us. Like we're constantly pivoting. Like,
well, and you try something, and if it doesn't work, you got to understand that that's okay that it didn't work. Like we don't do bulk clones anymore. Like literally we just go direct to
Your
consumer.
wife was actually telling me that.
Yeah. We don't do bulk clones. There's no reason to, because we were losing money and we lost money for a year doing bulk clones. We cut it and now we're successful doing direct to consumer, and it's way better. It's way easier. Less staff, less plants, less time and energy put into something that loses money. But you got to be okay with like cutting it and knowing that, you know, there's no reason to have it. We'll pivot and we'll shift.
Yeah.
We'll shift our energy into stuff that we know that works. And I think doubling down on what you're good at is so important.
Doubling down on what you're good at is, you know, another rule of thumb here, because it's like, you know, the jack of all trades, the guy that can do everything, but like the golden ticket is really knowing what you know, right?
Yeah, and nobody wants somebody that knows everybody. So if you guys want to be that guy out there, realize that most people don't want somebody that knows everybody. They want someone specialized. That's the beauty of the rec market. It's the beauty of adult use cannabis is you can specialize in one of those things, whether it's extraction, breeding. You don't need to do extraction, breeding, cultivation, manufacturing, all these different things. Like literally find your specialty, what you're good at, and just double down on the things that you're good at, and you're going to be successful.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I have a friend. He's in the medical billing and software industry for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And he's like, Amanda, he was my neighbor when I first got into this. And he's like, you are like just a subject matter expert. How do you say it? Subject matter expert of like recreational weed.
Yeah.
Like if anyone wants to go to you and like, how do I get into this state and how do I set up this operations? Like, you know. I'll tell everybody like right off the bat, don't call me to get your grow started. I have no freaking idea about what the hell is needed. Do I have a Rolodex of people that you could reach out to? Yes. But if you want to know how to get into a state, do a good agreement, have a good deal, and set up your team in that state, operations, I got you. I can help you with that structure. And I've done it for several brands in different places. And at this stage, so 12 years since Colorado went on, I guess you would say, I know that that's what I know.
Nice.
I know how to build teams and like go into an area and like figure out what what's going to work for that demographic and build that team.
Awesome.
It's an awesome thing, actually.
Totally. And it's something so necessary for this world.
Yeah.
So.
And a lot of the times hiring your friends does not work. Having your guy that was your guy on the street, it's a hard thing to break because of loyalty. It is, I am usually like, when I come onto the project, I'm the most hated person in the room, right? Because you're there to change a culture. You're there to change something that isn't working, right? So the lazy ones don't want to hear what you have to say. They'll be so problematic.
Friends are the worst.
The friends are
I love my friends. I love working with my friends that have businesses. We work together great, but hiring your friends for employees is just so difficult. And I'm not saying that it can't work and it doesn't work and I haven't seen it work because I have.
Yeah.
But for me, typically it doesn't work. And I've hired lots of my friends. I've hired lots of my friends and I've struggled and we've struggled together and it's nothing. I still love my friends. I still wish them the best and everything. But like, as far as working with friends, I don't know. It's one of those things.
It's one individual. Of those things.
I'm not like that either. I don't want to work with my friends. Typically, I don't want my friends to work for me as employees. I love working with my friends because all I do is work. So my friends are people I work with. So
like in a collaborative effect.
Exactly.
Right. But like,
building businesses and stuff, that's one thing. But as employees and having change and bossing my friends around, so the funny thing is I don't seem very bossy. And I can be totally bossy and I can be a total dick. And I feel like I don't ever come off like that with people. But then my employees are like, man, and especially friends, they're like, oh, I thought he was going to be this nice guy. And I'm never that guy.
But back to what I was saying, like I'm very blunt and direct.
Yeah.
So I think because I've done a lot of work working on myself and like how I enter a room where like a lot of the time it's just like, hey, their perception of me probably is due to like their insecurities on how I walk into the room, right?
Yeah.
So like you either love me or you hate me. And most of the times the people that don't like me, they're like, oh, she was rude or she was abrasive or, she's just mean. Like, I find in this being a woman with a bunch of these men, and I'm not one of these feminist girls.
Right.
Like, I love working with guys. I rather work with guys. I rather not work with women, you know?
Yeah.
But there comes a point in time where they try to flex on me a lot, and it's like making an emotional thing, or like, she's a bitch.
I think the best women in this industry are extremely tough, though. And I think you're one of them.
You have to be
You know,
tough.
it's like you have to be tough. I can talk about Autumn, my good friend Autumn, and it's like she might be hated by some people for being very direct and very honest, but she basically stands by her word and she's tough. You know, and I think to be a woman in this industry is not easy. It's a male-dominated industry, and the women that, you know, I think they do an amazing job. The women that are here that are running their businesses, and you know, you got to be tough. You have to be thick-skinned, and people say stupid shit all the time, and that goes, you know, across the board in any industry, kind of. But if people are looking to find out more about Amanda from PAX LA, where's the best place to go?
I guess you would go to my Instagram. I have 2 separate Instagrams because I've been taken down so many times. So if you want to find me, just go to Amanda X Cannabis and you could reach out to me.
Nice.
Pretty responsive.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an awesome, long podcast. I love it.
Thank you. I love it. Yeah. Anytime. And honestly, in all the places I've been, music world, movie world, whatever, for collabs, this is an amazing setup and your team here is freaking great.
We love it. We love it. I love my team. We have a great team. We got great people. We're a small skeleton crew, but we love what we do. Thank you.
All right. Hi.
Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you guys very much for your support. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe down below.